We are out here in the middle, just getting ready for the coin toss. Big welcome to our two umpires this evening, Neil Pratt and Tom Lundley. Just waiting for Leicestershire de Floyd to join us. Peter Hanscom, the Foxes skipper, already here. The skippers just swapping teams, their team sheets, just getting the last few housekeeping rules from our umpires for this evening. Point about to go up. Pete Hanson calls head. He's come down ahead. And you're deciding you're going to have a bowl. So the Foxes have won the toss, they're going to have a bowl. We'll just grab a quick word with Leicestershire after David Griffith's getting the two skippers together. Just grab Leicestershire. Thoughts on the toss?
Yeah, so different game, same result for us. Yeah, toss is a toss, it isn't in terms of the game. Yeah, well, whatever we do first, we'll look to back the first punch.
And coming in off the back of a great performance at Worcestershire, particularly with yourself included in that, some great innings there. Back to T20, how easy is it to convert it back to this form of the game?
Yeah, I think our guys are extremely well prepared, and you know the off season they would have had a lot of time to do all these skills and all that. It's just the mind shift. That's all.
And we're down to those last couple of games. We've got 2 in 2 days, so if we can win them on our home turf, we're still in with a decent chance of getting into those last 4.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just take it one game at a time, and yeah, let the fate sort of just take care of itself.
Great. Well, best of luck again tonight, Leicestershire. And just to confirm again that the Foxes have won the toss, they're going to have a bowl. So the Falcons will be opening up. Hopefully we're going to be going ahead on time. And I'll be back with you very soon just to give you those 2 lineups for this evening's play. We're about half an hour away now. Thank you. And as promised, those 2 lineups coming up now, starting off with the Leicestershire Foxes, number 67, Nick Welsh, 54, Peter Hanscom, 26, Rishi Patel, 48, Colin Ackerman, 24, Wian Mulder, 17, Louis Kimber, 23, Lewis Hill, 88, Tom Scriven, number 4, Michael Finan, 10, Callum Parkinson, and 62, Ed Barnes. And your Falcons lineup tonight with 24, Tom Wood, 4, Harry Kane, 77, Wayne Madsen, 76, Leicester Ploy, 29, Brooke Guest, 12, Haider Ali, 21, Matty McKiernan, 32, Zach Chappell, 15, Alex Thompson, 99, Zaman Khan, and number 9, George Scrimshaw.
Oh boy, I can see your body moving. And what I don't really know what I'm doing. Just to have a plan, my will, selfish thing. Have fun, fail now. See you doing what I can, but I can't tell you no. Too hard to explain.
Won't be long now till we get underway here at the Incora County Ground. If it's your first time joining us for the Vitality Blast this summer, take a look at the big screen now as we give a rundown of the key match rules.
Each match is played by two teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's one wicketkeeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. One over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries have runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
Hello, Martin. Hello.
We count down the final few minutes until we welcome out the players.
Yes, can do.
To remind all spectators that we stand against all forms of discrimination.
I'm too loud, am I? Well, I'll turn myself down a bit. How about that? Is that a bit better?
We will embrace
Okay.
and celebrate.
I'm never very good at the level kind of thing. That's more your department.
We are stronger. We're
Yes.
dedicated to raising the game. So if you witness it,
Okay, man.
challenge it, call it out.
Interminable interview with, yes.
By email to edi@derbyshirecc.com or speak to your nearest steward.
Doesn't seem to, certainly.
A little more than 10 minutes to go now before blast off, so take your seats and get ready for the action.
I should be listening. I can turn you down from this end, so don't worry about anything else. All right, mate. Yeah, all right. Yes, it looks like it will. It looks like it will. They've had the toss and everything, so I can tell you that anyway, and players are warming up, yeah. All right, man. A very good evening and welcome to the Incora County Ground for the penultimate T20 Blast match of the campaign for both sides, but an important one for Derbyshire, who have to win tonight to keep alive their hopes of finishing in the quarter-finals, or getting through to the quarter, not finishing in them, getting through to the quarter. Well, they might finish in them, who knows. Let's not go down that route. Team news and toss. Well, Leicestershire won the toss. Derbyshire are batting first, unsurprising really, given that there is some weather around. And one of the only change to the Derbyshire side, Tom Wood, in place of Lewis Rees, is coming out to bat with Harry Kane, which I'm not sure we've seen. Well, we haven't seen it in the Blast this season. And Callum Parkinson will bowl the first over. We'll be bowling from the racecourse end. So you're bang up today. I'll give you the two sides at some point. You can probably guess what they are. Wooden came, Madsen deployed Guest, Hayder, McKiernan, Chappell, Thompson, Zaman and Big George Scrimshaw. Zach Chappell, 1 wicket to equal the most wickets in a season record in T20 Blast cricket, the record that's currently held jointly by George Scrimshaw and Ravi Rampal. Leicestershire, Nick Welsh, Peter Hanscom, who's captaining and keeping, Rishi Patel, Colin Ackerman, Vian Mulder, Louis Kimber, Lewis Hill, Tom Scriven, Michael Finan, Callum Parkinson, who's going to bowl the first over, and my favourite cricketer in county cricket, Ed Barnes. And Harry Kane is going to face the first delivery, and we're going to start 3 minutes early. Why not? Thank you. Music's finished. Tom Longley says you can get on with it now, boys. And in comes Parkinson. Bowls to Harry Kane, who pushes it out into the offside, and there is no run. Neil Pratt and Tom Longley are our umpires this evening. Both familiar figures, of course. Tom Longley especially, on account of the fact he used to play here. Next delivery, turned into the leg side by Ken. They've run one. They're thinking about coming back for the second and decide against it. As in comes Vian Mulder to do the fielding. And Derbyshire are up and running. Parkinson's got quite a long run up for a left arm spinner. Not quite Derek Underwood, but not far off. And he's in around the wicket now and bowls to Tom Wood, who gets a thick inside edge down to short fine leg, and they scamper through for a single. Tom Wood did that a few times, I think probably at Grace Road, from memory. 2 without loss. Kane waits. Parkinson in around the wicket, bowls, clips that one into the leg side. Now then, they might get 2 here. He hasn't hit that very hard. They're going to think about coming back for the second, and they're going to decide against it. Just a single taken. Might be Nick Welsh down below. It could be Louis Kimber. I saw a 7 on the back of his shirt. I'll double check. As it was Kimber. As Parkinson bowls, that one's clipped up towards Kimber again. Another single is taken. 1 ball left of the first over. Derbyshire 4 without loss. I ought to tell you the score in the game involving Durham and Worcestershire down at New Road. Durham have made 216 for 4. They need to beat Worcestershire, and Derbyshire need to win tonight to set up a winner-takes-all on Sunday, as Harry Kane pushes this one out into the offside. There's a shot at the stumps that misses. And Derbyshire get 5 singles from the first over, and they are 5 without loss. We will, of course, as usual, be updating listeners on BBC Radio Derby throughout the course of the evening, as Michael Finan removes his cap.
To begin from the city end, number 4, Michael Finan.
There we go, confirmation. We'll see Ed Barnes at some point. He's at short third man at the moment, although it looks like he's moving. There is a slip in place, Rishi Patel, and as a result, Ed Barnes is going to backward point. 2 men outside the circle on the square leg boundary and on the mid-wicket boundary for Michael Finan, who'd be bowling initially to Harry Kane. He's got 3, Tom Wood has 4. And at the moment, the rain is staying away, which is good news. I don't think it's raining. I can't see any umbrellas up, certainly. Decent-ish crowd in for a miserable Friday night. And still more arriving. Here he is then in the left armour, a bit quicker than Parkinson, bowls to Kane, who has absolutely no idea what's happened there, and turns it backward a square on the leg side. He's going to come back for the second as well and get back comfortably enough. Picks up 2, moves to 5. Derbyshire 7 without loss. Very much took his eye off the ball there, I think it's fair to say. Worcestershire have started their innings and will keep across that throughout the course of the evening, of course. It will have a major bearing, but Derbyshire have to do their bit as Finan is in, and that one is guided out towards the cover boundary, but there's a man out there because they brought the mid-wicket in, and he only picks up a single. double check that we're online. Yep, we are. Good to have you along with us online, if you're with us there, or on the stream here at Derbyshire. 8 without loss. Harry Kame has 6, Tom Wood has 2. Update in about 30 seconds for Radio Derby. It's fine and he's in, and that one is almost lifted back to him by Tom Wood. Nicely bowled. Halfway through. The second over. Here comes the update. It is. Derbyshire need to win and Worcestershire need to lose to Durham if Derbyshire's hopes of reaching the quarterfinals are to stay alive. Derbyshire play Worcestershire on Sunday in what could be a winner-takes-all match. Tonight, they're taking on Leicestershire, as you say. They lost the toss. Derbyshire are batting, and they're currently 9 without loss. Tom Wood, who's in to replace Lewis Rees, is on 3. Harry Kame on 6. Derbyshire, a steady, if unspectacular start. 9 without loss after 10 deliveries. Ball was turned into the leg side by Wood, moved on to 3, 9 without loss. Now Kame guides this one out into the offside. He'll pick up 1, he'll come back for the second. He almost slips as he sets off for the second, and he gets there just in time. Good running from Harry Kame. He moves on to 8. And Derbyshire are 11 without loss. Just. Got slightly distracted by Burton Albion transfer news. Anybody from Burton Albion Persuasion listening in this evening? I know there are a lot of Derby County supporters who've just enjoyed the David Clowes interview with their doors on sports scene, but Burton have completed the signing of goalkeeper Max Crocombe from Grimsby Town. Next delivery is a swing and a miss from Harry Kame, who's tried to launch that into next week and missed it completely. 2 overs gone, 6 off that, 11 without loss, an early outing for Hey Jude. A very early outing for Hey Jude. Derbyshire have made a steady start. Worcestershire in the second over of their response to Durham's 216 for 4. They're 9 without loss after 7 deliveries. Brett D'Oliveira and Jack Haynes, 2 players who didn't actually play in the game that Derbyshire have just completed at New Road in the County Championship, back for this one. Liam Travaskis and Ben Rain bowling currently. And it's Colin Ackerman who's in and bowls to Tom Wood, who crashes it, absolutely crashes it to Tom Scriven. And there is no run. Ackerman in again, bowls, and this one is launched out into the offside, over everybody inside the ring. It might have the legs to go to the boundary, then again, it might not. They've run 2, and they're going to come back. No, they're not. They're going to stick to 2. The ball is fielded out there in the distance by Nick Welsh. 2 more to Wood, who moves to 5, 13 without loss. Some spin, plenty of it in evidence in the first 3 overs. Ackerman really darts that one in, clipped into the leg side by Wood, in off the boundary. Comes the fielder, who I'm trying to identify. It's Vian Mulder, and they go through for another single. Wood on 6, Kame on 8. He's on strike, 14 without loss. Ackerman in again. Wood clips this one. Kame clips this one around to the right of Louis Kimber, who falls to the ground as he fields. I expect to see plenty of players falling to the ground out there, because quite frankly, it's very, very wet, or has been. Ackerman in again. There was 2 off that last delivery. Kame had moved on to 10. He gets nothing for this one as he pushes the ball out into the offside. It's fielded by Rishi Patel. Final ball of the Ackerman over, 5 from it so far. Haven't seen a boundary yet as the ball is clipped nicely by Kame into the leg side. He will get 1 and move on to 11. Tom Wood has 6. Derbyshire 17 without loss. Just 6 runs off that over as well. No idea. Obviously the reason that...
Change of bowling at the City End.
There's Ed.
To Ed Barnes.
There he comes. Ed Barnes. The reason that Leicestershire decided they'd bowl first when they won the toss, if there's any rain around later, then they will know their target under Duckworth, Lewis, and indeed Stern. Barnes to bowl to Harry Kane. Kane's at a run of ball 11. And he's in now on bowls. 2 minutes gone straight up in the air and over Ed Barnes' head. He thought for a moment he was on for a caught and bowled until it looped right over his head. Harry Kane picks up a single, 18 without loss in the 4th over. Slightly fortunate, Harry Kane, on that occasion. Worcestershire have lost their first wicket. They're 9 for 1. As in comes Barnes again, and that was smashed straight back at him, and he will have hurt his right hand. He's in trouble here, Ed Barnes, because that was hit very, very hard by Tom Wood. And it was his right hand as well. It was smashed straight back at him. I'd be surprised if we saw Ed Barnes again this evening. He is in a lot of pain out there, and I'm not surprised. That was hit incredibly hard by Tom Wood, who is a powerful man, as we know. So one's looped over Ed Barnes' head. The other one has been smashed straight at him. He did well to react and get his hand to it, in all honesty. Dear, oh dear. And he does look to be in a bit of pain. He's either broken something or he's dislocated something, but the physio's out there now. He's covering his face with his shirt, and he looks to be in pain. Wow, that was hit hard. Even the Derbyshire physio's gone out to see if he can lend a hand, but well, it would be a huge blow for Leicestershire, of course, one of their frontline bowlers. Barnes currently being seen to by the physio, with Derbyshire on 18 without loss after 2 balls of the 4th over. 6 to Wood, 12 to Kane. We'll try and keep an eye on him whilst bringing you the scores from elsewhere. It's raining at Old Trafford, where Lancashire are taking on Yorkshire in the Roses match. Just down the road at Trent Bridge, Notts are 80 for 3 in the 10th over against Birmingham. And you already know Worcestershire, after 2 overs, 9 for 1 in reply to Durham's 216 for 4. The physio's still out there with Ed Barnes. I'm not sure whether they're warming up a substitute fielder, but certainly they won't be able to replace him. He's having a drink. Not sure that'll do him any good. And I think he must have dislocated something, because they're manipulating his right hand. This would have been the perfect time to get the binoculars out, really, wouldn't it? If only I'd done that earlier, that would have made far more sense. I could have seen what they were doing to his right hand. Let's have a look. They'll have stopped doing it by the time I'm sorted. Steady start for Derbyshire, steady, if unspectacular, as I said a little earlier. Let's have a look, see if we can see anything more through the binoculars. Well, I will be able to if umpire Neil Pratt wasn't in the way. Ed Barnes is still having something done to his right hand by the physio. All the Leicestershire players are crowding round him. And Neil Pratt's slightly concerned about the time by the look of it. He's just had a quick look at his wristwatch. Meanwhile, the 2 batsmen have been brought a drink by Nick Potts, I think that is. And let's see what's going to happen here. Is he going to carry on bowling? Is he going to go off? Where is he? There he is. I think he's going to stay on, you know. That is remarkable. It's a pat on the back from Lewis Hill. Peter Hanscom's there as well, and Tom Scriven. And Barnes is going to carry on. Well, they made it stern stuff, aren't they, these farming stock? That was hit very hard at him, though. So to recap this over, Barnes has bowled 2 deliveries. The first one looped up off a leading edge of Harry Kane's bat over the bowler, and they scampered through for the single. The second one was smashed by Tom Wood straight at Ed Barnes, and he's just had treatment. Plenty of it as well, about 5 minutes worth. Here is Barnes in and bowls, and this one is crashed away out towards the extra cover boundary. That'll go for 4. Don't care how much rain there's been. Good shot from Tom Wood, the first boundary of the innings. And he moves on to 10, 22 without loss, Derbyshire. Thank you, Kate. lens caps removed. I could see them through the binoculars perfectly. Oh, it is always worth reminding me. 22 without loss. In comes Barnes again from the city end, bowls to Wood, who just clips this into the leg side. They're going to run one. I think that's all they'll get. Yes, it is. Fielders from all directions race towards the ball. Wood moves to 11, 23 without loss. Only Tom Wood's sixth game in the competition this season. He's got more than 100 runs in those 6 games. His high score, though, was 39. He'll be hoping to improve on that. Harry Kane, his high score 45. He waits now as Barnes bowls 2. That one is guided out. Backward of square on the offside. There's a shy at the stumps from Rishi Patel. At the non-striker's end, it misses. They go through for another single. Harry Kane moves to 13, and Falcons are 24 without loss with 1 ball of the 4th over remaining. I thought Reenan's just said that hand may well be broken. Watching on the stream, I'm absolutely staggered that he's still out there, Ed Barnes. Fair play to him. He was hit with some force by this man, Tom Wood. He's on 11, 24 without loss. Barnes is in to complete his over, and that one is edged down to a very fine third man for 4 runs. So Wood gets away with 1, and Derbyshire move up to 28 without loss. 11 off that over. So a good over for Derbyshire. Really good over for them. Best over of the innings so far, and 2 overs of power play remain. Cut-off time has advanced by about 6 minutes now. Barnes is just struggling to put his sweater back on now. I don't think it's got anything to do with his hand. And Callum Parkinson is back. Bowled the first over of the innings, went for 5. Left armour, of course, very straight run up round the wicket. Bowls to Harry Kane, who lifts this gloriously over the extra cover fielders and out to the extra cover boundary for 4. His first boundary of the night. He moves to 17. Derbyshire 32 without loss, and they're starting to get into their work now. Worcestershire 24 for 1 in the 4th over in reply to Durham's 216 for 4. They have 100 balls left. There's an idea. And they need 193 more runs to win. Can't remember the last time I cheered for Durham. Here's Parkinson in again around the wicket. Bowls to Kane, who misses one. That's just darted through a bit quicker outside the off stump from Parkinson. Good delivery. Kane trying to guide it away, potentially in between the short third man and the backward point on the edge of the circle, but missed it. Flexes his knees now as Parkinson's in again. This one's been given a bit more air. It's driven down the ground, nicely stopped by a sliding Ackerman, and they go through for a single. 33 without loss. Parkinson again. In and bowls to Wood, who slaps this straight to Rishi Patel, but there's always a single there because he's right on the edge of the 30-yard circle. Wood has 16, Kane has 18, Derbyshire 34 without loss in the 5th over. 2 balls of it to go. Parkinson, who's heading for Durham next season, is in again and bowls. That one is clipped into the leg side. Now then, they are going to go through for another quick single. Lewis Hill with the fielding on this occasion. And they do scamper through for the run. The good thing about no boundaries is there's no music either. Kane has 19. Wood has 6. Derbyshire 35 without loss. Wood clips this up towards mid-on the edge of the circle. In comes Louis Kimber to do the fielding. The over comes to an end. 36 without loss. 8 off that one, and 1 over a power play to go. Derbyshire's power plays this season haven't been particularly impressive. It has to be said. 48 for 2 against Yorkshire at Chesterfield before they went on to make 212 for 4. 52 for 1 in the tie against Durham. These are the most recent ones. 37 for 2 at Northampton, as they won that game by 6 wickets at Wantage Road. best so far this season was at Birmingham in the 207 for 4 run chase when they made 57 without loss. Michael Finan to bowl the final over of the power play then. From the City end. Yeah, cut the music, thank you. Here we go. Finan into bowl to Tom Wood. Wood pulls this quite hard into the leg side in front of square, 4 runs. There is a fielder out there, Nick Welsh, but he never stood a chance of getting round to it. Wood's third boundary, he moves on to 21. Derbyshire are 40 without loss, with 5 deliveries of power play still to come. Tom Wood is going okay at the moment. Worcestershire have lost a second wicket, they're 38 for 2 now, in response to Durham's 216 for 4. Finan, second delivery of the 6th over, bowls, and that one is heaved again into the leg side by Wood for 6. Good shot, flat 6 by Tom Wood. Probably a yard over the boundary, away at mid-wicket. He got all of that. He moves to 27, and Derbyshire up to 46 without loss, with 4 balls of power play remaining. They are putting a man out at mid-wicket. There's a square leg and a mid-wicket now on the leg side, so if he can go up and over the offside, there are runs to be had out there. 10 off the over so far. 4 balls to go. 27 off 15, Tom Wood. Finan bowls to him and he pulls it in front of square again, and it's 4 more. Colin Ackerman had gone out there at mid-wicket, and it was slightly straighter than that and goes all the way to the boundary, and all of a sudden Wood really is motoring. 31 off 16, the partnership worth 50. 50 without loss, Derbyshire, with 3 overs of power play to go. Turning into a good start. I think there's only one match in which they haven't lost a wicket in the power play. That was the game at Birmingham when they chased down that 200 well, the target was 204. They eventually made 207. There's Deploy finishing things off nicely. 3 balls of the over to go. Fine in again. Wood drives him this time and says no, because it goes straight to the fielder, coming in at mid-on the edge of the 30-yard circle. Louis Kimber. No music. You see, it's a bit of a payoff, isn't it, really? Because the music means they're scoring runs. If they're not scoring runs, there's no music. So take your pick. Crowd, I know what my pick is. Crowd filling up nicely. I think most people who are coming are here now. 7 o'clock start on a Friday night for this one. Finan's in again. That's right on the toes of Tom Wood. The dive from Kimber at mid-on doesn't stop the ball, and it goes up to the members' pavilion for 4 more. 18 off the over now. Wood moves up to 35. Derbyshire 54 without loss, with 1 over of power play to go. They did make 56 in defeat against Nottinghamshire. 56 for 1. I think 54 without loss is better. Still not quite as good as 57 without loss, of course, unless Tom Wood can dispatch this one to the boundary. He's on 35 off 18. 54 without loss. Finan's in. Wood clips this, and he's going to get 1. That's a fine stop by Callum Parkinson, fielding at short, fine leg. It was a bit of a top edge down towards short, fine leg. Single take, and Wood will keep the strike. He's on 36. Derbyshire at the end of that over. 55 without loss and 19 run over. Always need one of those. Looks like Colin Ackerman is coming back. No, it's Tom Scriven. It shows you what I know. I saw an 8. Had a guess. Guessed wrong. Never guess. Never, ever guess. In the game down at New Road, Worcestershire are 50 for 2 in the 5th over, 54 for 2 in the 5th over. They need 163 from 91. Mitch Santner is going mad, 23 off 11. Adam Hose yet to face a delivery. Santner's strike rate 209.9. Absolute madness. Tom Woods is 189.47. 36 off 19, 55 without loss, and here comes Scriven for the first time this evening in and bowls to Tom Wood, who gets wrapped on the pads. Ball dribbles down in front of him, and there is no run. Still no sign of a start in the Roses match, which will be very irritating for what will be a very large crowd. No information as to when they might start either. It just says match start delayed due to rain in Manchester. Scriven in and bowls. Wood off one leg, smashes it out to the cover boundary. It's juggled with by the man out there, who eventually picks up and keeps him down to a single. Again, he hit that ball very, very hard, Tom Wood. 37 from 21 he's on. 56 without loss in the 7th over. Essex 43 for 2 against Middlesex in a game that I'm sure is being criticised on Radio Essex. Scriven is in, that's a wide. Harry Kane couldn't reach it. Tom Lungley turns around, puts the arms out wide. It always looked like a wide, and so it was. Scriven back to his mark. Kane flexes his legs twice. He bowls, and that one is guided up and over the man at point for 4 runs. Just for a moment, I thought a flying Rishi Patel might have been able to catch that one, but he couldn't. The ball flies away to the boundary. Harry Kane picks up what is only his second 4, moves on to 23, and Derbyshire 61 without loss now. Kane 23 off 18. Wood 37 off 21. Kane's on strike. Scriven bowls to him. 2 steps down the track. Guides it out towards the cover boundary. Picks up a single to move to 24-62 without loss. 33 balls for the 50 partnership between Harry Kane and Tom Wood. As in comes Scriven again, turned into the leg side by Wood. They've run 1. They're going to come back for the second. That's brilliant. I love that. Love to see a 2 inside the 30-yard circle. Excellent. Excellent running. Wood moves to 39. Derbyshire 64 without loss. 1 ball, the 7th over to come. Run rate just a touch under 9.5 at the moment. The man at long off has gone back to the boundary. There's a long on as well, Louis Kimber. As Scriven is on his way in. Bowls, and Wood just taps this into the leg side. Are they going to get 2 more here? This will be remarkable. No, says Harry Kane on this occasion. Louis Kimber gets to the ball. Single taken off the last one. Wood keeps the strike. He moves on to 40. And Derbyshire with 10 runs off the 7th over, a 65 without loss. Thought for a moment the umpires were going to have a chat with each other there, but no. This is Colin Ackerman, I'm fairly certain.
48, Colin Ackerman.
There we go. So Ackerman. Bit of spin for Tom Wood. 40 from 23. So Ackerman in over the wicket, bowls to Wood, who's swing and a miss. He put everything into that. Tom Wood. He gave it everything. Got nothing from it. As Ackerman's on his way in again. Bowls. Wood heaves that into the leg side. That'll go for 4 out to deep backward square leg. Once it had beaten Callum Parkinson on the edge of the circle, it was always going to get there. Been posed a question, If there's an all run for, will there be music or silence? That could be the perfect storm, an all run for. Quite where you'd get an all run for from if there were no overthrows. I'm not entirely certain, but will be good. Ackerman bowls, turning to the leg side by Wood. They've run one. They're thinking about coming back for the second and decide against it. Wisely, I fancy. 70 rather for no loss. Wood moves on to 45. This is now Tom Wood's highest. No, it isn't. That's nonsense. Shut up, Fletcher. Read it properly. Ackerman bowls to Harry Kane. Short. And that one is pulled into the leg side by Kane. He didn't really capitalise on that. Picks up another single to move to 25. 71 for one with 2 balls of the 8th over remaining. I got overexcited by the total being slightly more than Tom Wood's high score in T20 cricket for the first team. He's on 45 from 26. Waits. Ackerman is in and bowls a very full delivery that Wood manages to get an inside edge on, pushes it out into the leg side. They come through for another single as it's fielded out there in the deep by Nick Welsh. 46 now to Wood, 72 without loss with 1 ball of the 8th over to go. Worcestershire appear to be making a decent fist of that run chase against Durham as Kane clips this into the leg side for pretty much an agreed single. Wood thinks there might be 2, there aren't. Kane moves to 26, Wood has 46, Ackerman's over finishes with the score on 73 without loss, just 8 runs from that one, so 29 off the previous 2. Ackerman slows it down a little bit, and we're going to see Ed Barnes return, but this time from the racecourse end. I've got an update coming up fairly shortly. Tom Wood's T20 record going into this game, played just 13 matches, had 12 innings, 343 runs with a strike rate of 130 and a high score of 67. Twice he's got to 50 in his career. Harry Kane's 22nd game of T20 cricket. He's on strike now. He's got 150. Barnes into bowl to Kane, who's lifted this down towards the permanent temporary stand for 6. Nice scoop from Harry Kane. He bags a 6, moves to 32. Derbyshire 79 without loss. Beautifully done. Beautifully done by Harry Kane. I don't think Ed Barnes will necessarily think it was particularly well done, but there we go. 79 without loss. And Barnes is on his way in again. Update coming up now. Pulled into the leg side by Kane. He's only going to get a single. He moves to 33 of 23. Wood 46 from 27. Really good start by Derbyshire this, Martin. They lost the toss, were put into bat. We're in the 9th over and they're 80 without loss. Openers Tom Wood and Harry Kane still out there. Wood 4 away from a half century from 27 deliveries. Harry Kane's got 33 off 23. Both have hit a 6. There have been plenty of 4s as well, 8 of them in total. And Derbyshire going nicely. They're 80 without loss in the 9th. Oh, there's a misfield, a comedy misfield down below us. And 4 runs to Harry Kane, to Tom Wood, and that's his half century. Well, sorry, buddy. The 3rd of his career, Tom Wood. 28 deliveries. Oh dear. 7 4s and 1 6. And away to go, Woody, on the public address system. The misfield down below us from Louis Kimber. Couldn't have come at a worse time, really. If indeed there is a good time for a misfield. Here's Barnes again. He'll be slightly miffed. 84 without loss. Bowls, that's on the leg stump, turned away down towards long leg. Fielder slides around to do the fielding in the far distance. They pick up another single. And Wood moves on to 51, 85 without loss in the 9th. Barnsley walking back to his back. He's not got a happy-looking face. And he's one of the nicest men you could wish to meet. I had a really long chat with him at Grace Road earlier in the season when he wasn't playing, just coming back from injury. Came on 33, waits as Barnes bowls to him, and that one is driven aerially down the ground for a one-bounce four. Out towards long off. Harry Kane's in pretty decent nick himself, it would appear. He moves to 37, 89 without loss now. Worcestershire have lost a third wicket, and Mitch Santner has gone. Caught by Ashton Turner off the bowling of Nathan Souter for 42 off just 20 balls. They're 78 for 3 now after 7 overs. Worcestershire, they need 139 from 78. Here's Barnes on his way in again. Flex of the knees from Kame. And this one is just glanced into the leg side for what will almost certainly be just a single. Colin Ackerman does the fielding. It is just a single. Kame moves to 38. 90 without loss. Uh-oh. End of the over. 17 from it. Stand by your beds. I can only apologise. It's a great song. It's a really, really good song. Can't be doing with it. So Tom Wood's overall strike rate this season is 153. Today, 175. Harry Kane's strike rate today is 152. So well done to him. And Colin Ackerman will continue from the City end. Doesn't bowl the first delivery. He'll have to do that again. Something clearly upset him. He is in over the wicket now. And there's a swing and a miss from Harry Kame. Do like a swing and a miss. Tom Wood's third, I think, as I'm correct in saying. Yeah, third 50 in T20 cricket for Tom Wood. Kame gets a full toss this time and whips it around the corner out towards Nick Welsh on the square leg boundary. They pick up a single. 91 without loss. Brings Tom Wood back onto strike. 51 from 29. Ackerman bowls to him. Oh, he's hit that a long way. A long, long way over, long off, and all the way over the advertising boards, dropped by a gentleman in a sort of dark coat out there. It's an evening for coats here in Derby. Huge from Wood. He moves to 57 off 30, and Derbyshire 97 without loss. You know what this means? Yeah. I'm sure in the past, Derbyshire have had some pretty big partnerships. Just last season, Shan Masood and Lewis Rees. I'll get it out in a minute. This one is clipped into the leg side by Wood. They've run 1. That's all they'll get. So Shan Masood and Lewis Rees. They're going to get 2 from another misfield, and that will indeed equal the highest opening stand for Derbyshire against Leicestershire in T20 cricket, set last season by Shan Masood and Lewis Rees. They put on 99 in last season's game between the two. Tom Wood already has a record this season with Wayne Madsen. They put on 95 for the third wicket. Wood reaches for this one outside the off stump and sends it straight to the fielder, which is a little bit alarming from a Tom Wood perspective. 99 without loss. Century stand was Wood clips this one around the corner, and it bounces once before it reaches the fielder out there, Nick Welsh. And the century stand is up for Derbyshire at the end of the 10th over. 100 for no wicket. 10 off the over. Century stand between Harry Kame and Tom Wood. Wood has 60, Kame has 39. It's been a terrific start for Derbyshire. And to bowl the first over of the second half of the contest, Callum Parkinson. Around the wicket he comes and bowls to Wood, who smashes it down the ground. Kame has to take evasive action. It's 4 more. Just to the onside of the stumps at the non-striker's end. Harry Kame had to be sharp there. 104 without loss now. Again, he's hit that one incredibly hard. This is quite explosive hitting from Tom Wood. We've seen him do it before in 50-over cricket. Parkinson bowls him. He guides this one out into the offside. They've run one. That's all they'll get. Wood moves on to 65, 105 without loss. Taking his time to dry the ball, Callum Parkinson, and quite right too. It won't be very easy for the bowlers out there, and of course Derbyshire still have to bowl. That's how these things work. 105 for 1. Parkinson in around the wicket, and that one is clipped nicely into the leg side by Harry Kame for another single. He'll move on to 40. Derbyshire move up to 106 without loss. Tim's asking what the bloke is flinging into the crowd. I assume it was the T-shirt. It's called a scatter blast or something, Tim? T-shirts, essentially. People get very excited at almost every cricket ground that there are free T-shirts on offer. Parkinson is in and bowls. This one is lifted out towards a wide long off. They've run one. They're not going to come back for the second as the ball is fielded by Bian Mulder away to our left-hand side. Wood moves to 66, 107 for 1. Yeah, so I imagine it was T-shirts. Good to have you on board, Tim. As ever, at Fletch Sport, probably the best way of getting in touch unless you have my number. FletchCricket@gmail.com. Here's Parkinson. 2 balls left of his over. Kame guides this, but straight to the man on the edge of the 30-yard circle and extra cover. Wood scampers back into his crease. Nicely fielded there by Tom Scriven. Had to be alert. Actually fell backwards as he stopped it. 7 off the over so far, 1 ball to come. 107 without loss in the 11th. Can't see any rain in the side screen at the far end. Oh, that struck the pad of Harry Kame as he tried to turn it into the leg side. 2 dot balls to finish with. Is there any need to play this twice so quickly? 107 without loss. 7 off the over. All together now. 107 without loss. Wood has 66. Harry Kame has 40. Worcestershire are 90 for 3 after 9 overs, chasing 217 to beat Durham at New Road and finally end Derbyshire's hopes of a quarter-final, potentially away to Somerset. We all know what happens there. 127 more runs in 65 balls is their target. Here's Louis Kimber, and that one is driven high and long, out towards long off for 6 by Tom Wood. Louis Kimber's first ball of the evening is dispatched in very impressive fashion by Tom Wood. He hasn't thrown in a way to go Woody, which is a blessing. 113 without loss. Wood's third 6, 8 fours to go with that. He's on 72. It's his highest score in T20 cricket. He fancies a century here. Kimber in, bowls to him, and he guides that one to backward point where it's fumbled by Rishi Patel. But no damage done because the batsman had already pretty much agreed not to go for a run. As in comes Kimber again. That one turned into the leg side by Wood. They've run 1, that's all they'll get. He moves to 73. Again, there's a slip. Don't need that either, disrespectful. Wood moves on to 74, 115 without loss. Never been a big fan of the wah-wah. If indeed that's what it's called. I don't think it will be. So we know Reenan's on board. We know Tim's listening. Turned into the leg side by Tom Wood, the next delivery from Kimber. The fourth ball of the over. 9 conceded so far, 116 without loss. Wood on to 75 off 40. You're all very welcome. In comes Kimber around the wicket. The ball Harry Kame heaves it into the leg side for a single. Looks at the toe end of his bat. Fielded cleanly, hence the ironic cheers. It cannot be easy. It cannot be easy. Had a lot of rain this morning, then it stopped for a while. They took the covers off, then they put them all back on around about 4:30, 4:45. Kimber in to complete his over. Oh, Wood smash that one out towards the members' pavilion for 6 more. Blimey, he is hitting the ball so hard tonight, Tom Wood. 81 not out from 40. Without losing a wicket. Kane waits, he's on 41. Scriven bowls to him and Kane pushes this, doesn't quite time it, up towards Louis Kimber, who's coming in off the long on boundary. He gets a single. He moves to 42 off 32. Wood, the only change to the Derbyshire side that played at Old Trafford last Friday in that rain-shortened 15 overs a side game, not 15 a side. That would be ludicrous. 124 without loss. Scriven drying the ball furiously as he sets off to bowl to Tom Wood. And Wood whips this away down towards the long leg boundary, and he's got 4 more. He moves on to 85. Well, nothing that Tom Wood does at the moment can possibly go wrong, it would appear. 85 off 42. Remarkable, really, for a player who hasn't played side by the selection panel, which I assume just includes Mickey Arthur. 85 not out. Wood Scriven in and bowls to him, and this one is crashed to Rishi Patel at backward point, and they scamper through for a single. 129 without loss, with 3 overs of the 13th over. 3 balls of the 13th over to go. So 7.5 overs remain. Derbyshire 129 without loss. It is a used pitch. It's very green. But as we've said many times this season, the green pitches don't play like green pitches here at Derby. In goes Scriven and bowls to Kame, who's lifted this one out towards the corporates and into them. Oh, one-handed catch. How about that? Down below, a gentleman wearing a red anorak. He's got his kids with him and he's caught that one-handed. That is magnificent. Absolutely magnificent from the gentleman in the crowd. I hope they've got that on film. Do they have film anymore? Who knows? Kane moves to 48. They probably don't. 135 without loss. Here goes Scriven again. In and bowls to Kame, who turns this into the leg side. Is this going to be the 2 runs he needs to get to his half century? Wood's turning back. Kames might have to rush here. Wood had to rush. There's an appeal for a run out. It's not given. And Harry Kame has 50 as well. Well batted, Harry Kame. 34 deliveries, so slightly longer. 3 4s and 2 6s, including that big one into the corporates. 137 without loss. And it now is officially the highest partnership for the first wicket against anybody. Lewis Rees and Billy Godleman against Worcestershire here in 2019 put on 135. Scriven bowls. Oh, Kame's got hold of that one as well. That might go all the way for 6. It does. Out towards the long off boundary. He didn't get everything behind that, I think it's fair to say. But he moves on to 56. 20 runs off that over. 143 without loss now, Derbyshire. Remarkable. Just the applause there for the highest first wicket stand. Colin Ackerman is back. I don't think anybody really wants to bowl. Bowling from the City end, I wouldn't. Ackerman's bowled 3 overs for 24 and has been as economical as anybody. He's in and bowls, and Wood might be out here, and he's been dropped and it's gone for 4. That is awful from Louis Kimber. It went straight to him. The ball will be slippery, but that is an awful, awful drop by Louis Kimber, and Tom Wood moves on to 90 now. That is a very ordinary piece of fielding. 147 without loss. Wow. Straight to him at long on. Colin Ackerman in again from the City end. Over the wicket, bowls. That's a full toss and it's lifted into the leg side. It bounces shy of Nick Welsh. They pick up another single. Wood moves to 90. .148 without loss. Next delivery is Harry Kame smashing the ball in the air. He's going to get caught on the long off boundary, and he is caught on the long off boundary. Simple catch for Lewis Hill, and Colin Ackerman gets his man. Harry Kame goes for 56. Really good knock from the Derbyshire opener from 36 deliveries. Colin Ackerman picks up the first wicket of the evening in the 14th over, and Wayne Madsen strides out to the middle. 148 for 1. Record breaking. Harry Kane deserves a huge amount of applause. It's the last ball of the over, but it wasn't. It was the third ball of the over. Madsen will be on strike. The new batsman is always on strike. Good change to the rules and regulations. Keith, good evening to you. Now then, he says. What's happening with Sam? Might just be me, but I've not heard anything. Sam Connors has had a calf injury. I expect to see him at Sussex. He was out bowling in the middle at Worcester. And he was here earlier on today as well, doing some bowling with Ajmal Shahzad, Keith. So don't be surprised to see him in the side at Hove. I'm not entirely certain he'll be risked on Sunday against Worcestershire. Next delivery to Wayne Madsen by Colin Ackerman, pushed up towards the long on boundary for a single. Kimber does the fielding. Madsen off the mark. 149 for 1. Worcestershire need 105 from 54, making a good fist of chasing down that big Durham total. That would be disappointing. Ackerman in again, bowls. That one's turned into the leg side by Wood, who'll move up to 92. I think 1 is all they'll take. It is, as again in off the boundary, this time Nick Welsh. 150 up.
150 up for the Falcons.
There we go, told you. 150 up for Derbyshire. But good to hear from you, Keith. Hope that answered your question. Always happy to answer questions. Ackerman is in, bowls to Madsen, who goes back and then cuts this one down to backward point. There is a man on the boundary down there. It's a Very angry looking Michael Finan, who hurls the ball back in. End of the over, 151 for 8. 8 off it. 4 overs, 1 for 32 for Colin Ackerman. Decent effort from him. And it looks as though Tom Scriven is coming back according to the scoreboard, but it's Michael Finan, in fact. 2 overs for 25. The reason Tom Scriven was highlighted, of course, was because he'd bowled the previous over. So 6 overs to go. 151 for 1. Harry came out for 56. Madsen on 2. Tom Wood at the non-strikers end at the moment. 92 from 46. A strike rate even I can work out. 200 exactly. 41 off his last 17 deliveries. Fine, and he's in and bowls to Madsen, who whips this one away out to the mid-wicket boundary. Fielded by Ackerman, single taken. Madsen moves to 3, 152 for 1. Thank you to Andrew, who's with me on Neil Diamond. Big Clive's here, he's pinching himself. Banana's still with us, as this is a full toss to Tom Wood, and he pushes it straight to Vian Mulder. He's missed out there on a full toss from Michael Finan. Banana says, by his calculations, if Worcestershire win, we need Lancashire and Notts not to win today and Sunday, and we'll finish above them. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And David McCardle agrees with me on the wah thing. It's crass beyond belief. I couldn't agree more, David. Could not agree more. Don't like it. Disrespectful. Here's Finan. Left armour around the wicket. Bowls a full toss to Tom Wood, who can do no more than bunt it into the offside for a single, fielded by Tom Scriven. Wood moves on to 93. 153 for 1. I don't mind them trying to gee up the crowd if they really feel they need to. Daniel Warwick says it looks like they're level on DRS. Well, they haven't gone off, have they? Oh, they are. Bad light. Oh, my word. Next delivery. I don't know what's going to happen there. This one is pulled up towards long on by Wayne Madsen to Louis Kimber. I can't find DLS on my... Somebody will have to help me out. If you're right, Daniel, then that is a good result if it finishes there with bad light. 112 for 3 off 11 overs in reply to 216 for 4. Worcestershire need 105 off 54, but they're off for bad light at New Road. In comes Fine, and then 2 deliveries of his over left. Bowls to Wood, gets a full delivery that he manages to block out into the leg side, and they're going to come back for 2. Remarkable. Peter Hanscom comes from behind the stumps to do the fielding, and Wood moves on to 95 now. And confirmation from Stephen down the other end here. They are tied on Duckworth Lewis at New Road. You're absolutely right, Daniel. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I hadn't realised they'd gone off, if I'm honest. Fascinating. And at the same time, nerve-jangling. In comes Finan to complete the over, and it's driven down the ground by Wood, but straight to Vian Mulder for a single. Wood moves on to 96, end of the over. 157 for 1. A good over there from Michael Finan, just 6 runs off it. 157 for 1 Derbyshire with 5 overs to go. They will certainly want 200, and they don't do that very many times. I think 10 in their history from memory. And Ed Barnes is back. Oh, it's good to see Barnesy. As you know, my favourite cricketer away from Derbyshire. Had a little spell here at Derbyshire a couple of 3 years ago, was due to make his debut against Durham at Chester Street, and it bounced it down, and he never got to play, but I did still manage to get a quick interview with him. Now, this is interesting. The umpires have just conferred about something. Barnes has 2 overs left, Scriven has 2, Kimber 3, Finan 1, and Parkinson 1. Don't know whether... yeah, the umpire's just going to have a word with the scorer next door. Or is it the scorer or not the scorer? I don't think it is the scorer. I don't think it's raining. Hopefully we'll get the full DLS rundown. 10.5 the run rate at the moment, and Tom Wood on 96 on strike as Ed Barnes is on his way in for his 3rd over. Bowls trim, and he smashes that out for 4 runs, and it's a century for Tom Wood in T20 cricket. Excellent work from Tom Wood. He punches the air, he removes his helmet, thrusts his arms aloft. Century for Tom Wood, only the 6th T20 century in Derbyshire history. Wayne Madsen, who's with him out there, has 2 of them. One this season, of course, against Leicestershire at Grace Road. He made 109 not out, the 2nd highest score in Derbyshire history. Wes Durston at the top of the pile with 111. Callum MacLeod 104. Greg Smith 100 not out. Wayne Madsen 100 not out. And now Tom Wood. Off 51 balls. Brilliant effort. 10 fours, 4 sixes. In comes Barnes again, and he pulls this one into the leg side slightly aerially. Picks up a single. Moves to 101. 162 for 1. It's all gone quiet out there. I keep looking around for umbrellas, and there aren't any, which is always a good sign, I think. In comes Barnes, and, well, Wayne Madsen's gone for a little flick. Has it come off his bat? Yes, it has. He's got it down to a very fine leg for 4. Doubles his score to 8 off 5 deliveries, 166 for 1. 9 off the over. No, 8 off the over, you fool. Four overs and 3 balls remaining. 9 off the over. 166 for 1. As Barnes is on his way in again from the city end to bowl to Wayne Madsen. Madsen chops that one down towards backward point. They run 1. That's all they'll get. Madsen fancies a second. There was probably 2 there due to the throw from Fine and not being as accurate as it might have been. 167 for 1. He's now the 4th highest scorer, of course, with 101 not out in Derbyshire T20 history. Here's Wes Durston's 111 under threat. Well, it is while Wood's out there, and he's crashed that one away for 4 and moves to 105 out to the extra cover boundary. It just sat up and said hit me, and Wood obliged. 171 for 1 with 4 overs and 1 ball to go. Tom Wood now has the 3rd highest score individually in Derbyshire T20 history. Only 2 men ahead of him. Wayne Madsen himself from that 109 not out earlier this season, and Wes Durston's 111 against Notts in 2010. The only 2 batsmen now in front of Tom Wood. It's been a very special innings from Tom Wood. Strike rate just dips below 200, 105 from 53. Fine, and Barnes on his way in and bowls to him, and he's lifted that down the ground. Now then, is that near a fielder? No, it's not. They're going to come back for 2. He moves up to 107. Thank you, Bray. I don't, it probably wasn't a play on words. 2 more off the last ball of the over. 173 for 1. 16 off the over. You'll have heard, if you didn't hear John Brayford, John Brayford with me 3 weeks ago now. He's back in training at Burton Albion, of course, the Brewers skipper. Excellent company and a very fine summariser as well he was. Update coming up in the next 30 seconds. I would have thought Martin will tell me 30 seconds in a moment. Oh, he hasn't. 173 for one. Wayne Madsen on strike. Parkinson in and bowls. Oh, Wayne Madsen has to reach for that one, and he's going to get 4 runs for it down to a very wide third man. He does. He moves to 13, 177 for one. We've witnessed history tonight, Martin. We've seen the 6th century by a Derbyshire batsman in T20 cricket. Local boy Tom Wood, 107 not out from 54 deliveries. Wayne Madsen's out there with him on 13. They're 177 for one. The only man out, Harry Kame. Oh dear, Wayne Madsen could be out here as he's hoisted the ball into the leg side. He's going to get away with it though, and he's going to get 2. The only man out, Harry Kane, made 56 off 36 deliveries. They put on 148 for the first wicket, another record against anybody in T20 cricket for Derbyshire. A remarkable evening so far. Difficult fielding conditions with the rain we had earlier. Lots of fielders slipping about, and Derbyshire have still got to field. But with 3 overs and 4 balls to go of their innings, they're 179 for one. I thought he was going to get caught. I thought he was going to get 4. He ended up getting 2. Madsen and 15. Wood has 107. 179 for one. Parkinson bowls to him. Now then, this one's gone up a long way. Hanscom, the wicket-keeper with the gloves on, takes the catch. And Wayne Madsen's gone for 15 off 9 deliveries. I think we're going to see most batsmen throw the bat at the ball. Madsen goes for 15. And Derbyshire 179 for 2 now. Callum Parkinson in the 17th over picks up the 2nd wicket to fall. And this will be a problem for Leicestershire if they have to go hard from the start. As Leicestershire Ploy, who got a double century in the county championship this week, comes out to bat. The captain's been in pretty decent T20 nick as well. So a wicket apiece for Callum Parkinson and Colin Ackerman this evening. Does that tell us something? Derbyshire have Matty McKeon and Alex Thompson in the spin department. Leicestershire Ploy can turn his arm. Tom Wood, well, you'd throw the ball to him, wouldn't you? 107 or 54 deliveries. Why wouldn't you hand in the ball and say, just bowl us a couple of overs of offies? Woody. Parkinson, 3 balls of his final over to come. Bowls to deploy, turns it into the leg side for a single. In off the boundary comes Welsh. 180 up, 180 for 2. Still off a bad light at New Road. It's not going to get any lighter, you wouldn't have thought. That's what I would surmise. Wood on 107 then. He's a boundary away from equaling the highest score, individual score by a Derbyshire batsman. He's 2 away from joining Wayne Madsen at joint second. Parkinson makes him wait as he drives the ball. In he comes and bowls, and that one is just pushed up towards long on for a single. Louis Kimber comes in off the boundary. Wood moves to 108 of 55. 181 for 2 with 1 ball of the 17th over to go. 8 runs off the over so far. Still no start at Lancashire, Yorkshire. Notts 168 all out. Birmingham 5 for 2 at Trent Bridge. Birmingham need to win that one. It would give Derbyshire a chance of overhauling the Outlaws but only if Notts lose to Leicestershire on Sunday. Parkinson bowls. That one is driven by Deploy up towards long on. Just a single. Louis Kimber, Vian Mulder, I beg your pardon, with the fielding. End of the over. 182, 9 from it. 182 for 2. Parkinson just gets a little pat on the back from Ed Barnes. He finishes 4 overs, 1 for 29, which amongst all the carnage are pretty decent figures, it has to be said. 1 for 32 Ackerman from 4, 1 for 29 Parkinson from 4. Tom Scriven, who's gone for 30 already off his first 2 overs, is going to come back and bowl over number 18. Louis Kimber, we won't see him again. 1 over for 16. Michael Finan, 3 overs for 31. Ed Barnes, 3 overs for 44. Pace off has definitely been the order of the day. We now have a bit of pace on from Tom Scriven from the City end. On his way in, bowls to Deploy, who dabs it into the ground. And it's a dot ball. Nobody wants that. Tom Wood's century off 51 balls means he now has 2 of the 4 fastest hundreds in Derbyshire history. The other one coming against Notts in the Royal London, as it was, the 50-over contest. Scriven on his way in and bowls to Deploy, who turns this into the leg side. They're going to get 1. Will they come back for 2? They will. Deploy will move on to 4. 184 for 2. Just having a look through the binoculars, having taken the lens caps off. And I can confirm it isn't raining. It is, I was going to say it's gloomy. It's night time nearly. But for this time of night in June, it is very gloomy. Deploy waits, Scriven bowls to him. He turns it into the leg side. Are they going to get 2 here? Is he going to put it between the fielders for 4? He's going to come back for a second. He moves on to 6, 186 for 2. Wood will get his opportunity, I'm sure, to reach 111 at some point. If he doesn't, he'll be very disappointed. I don't think he will, actually. Oh, Deploy's been struck by Scriven as he tries to turn that one into the leg side. Thank you, Tim. Agrees with the wires, but he says it should only be used for Notts and Yorkshire fielding errors. Absolutely right from Drew as well. Derbyshire just need to be careful. Odds are that Leicestershire will have a DLS target, so fewer wickets we lose, the better. I'm not sure. It probably does. I think there is a bit of moisture in the air now as Scriven is in and bowls to Deploy, who tries to lift this one over the keeper, and it's another dot ball. 186 for 2 with 1 ball of the 18th over to go. If I understood how Duckworth Lewis worked, I would either agree or disagree, but quite frankly, I've got no clue. A few Leicestershire fans just making their presence heard. It is raining. That one's lifted beautifully by Deploy over the wicketkeeper's head for a 1-bounce 4. He was determined to do it, and he's finally connected. He goes under 10 off 8. 190 for 2 at the end of 18 overs. 8 from that one. 200 on the cards for Derbyshire. But will it matter? Will we get a finish? Certainly hope so. Michael Finan to complete his overs. 3 overs for 31 so far. Earlier this season when Derbyshire played Leicestershire, they won by 2 runs, 189 for 5. Leicestershire 187 for 5. And in that game, Wayne Madson's 109 not out. Tom Wood's on 108. as Finan comes in and bowls to him. It's a full toss down the leg side wide, 191 for 2. And he's missed out. He could have heaved that one away to any part of the leg side boundary for 4 to become the highest scorer in Derbyshire T20 history. But didn't connect. And goes Finan again. Bowls to Wood, who lifts this into the leg side. It bounces just in front of Louis Kimber and almost over him. Not quite. Wood moves to 109 and becomes the joint second highest scorer for Derbyshire in T20 cricket history. 109 off 56. Wayne Madsen's 109 not out, came off 61. So not only has he matched him, but he's got there slightly quicker. Madsen was out there in the middle with him when he got to 3 figures, which was a nice moment for Tom Wood. 192 for 2 now. We have 11 deliveries left. Finan is in and bowls a wide delivery that is signalled wide. Finan is suggesting that Lewis Deploy had moved. It was a long way wide, outside the blue guideline. Derbyshire certainly won't try to persuade the umpires not to come back out, because they need to win this game. Finan has bowled just one legitimate delivery in this over so far. He's on his way in now and bowls 2 Deploy. It's a full toss wide of the off stump and signalled wide again. We may never get to the end of this over. Perhaps he's bowling for rain. Deploy on 10 from 8. Wood on 109 from 56. Derbyshire 194 for 2 with 11 deliveries still to go. In goes Finan and bowls, and this one is heaved down towards final leg off a thick inside edge by Lewis Deploy for 4. 198 for 2. Deploy moves to 14. $212 for 4 against Yorkshire at Queen's Park this year certainly is, as is the 207 for 4 at Edgbaston. 198 for 2. Finan in and bowls to Deploy, who's smashed that down the ground, but he's got a lot of height on it. Around the boundary runs the fielder and can't get there. It's 6. Just for a moment I thought Louis Kimber was going to get there, but it's gone all the way for 6 to a very wide long on, and the 200 is up for Derbyshire. 204 for 2, the 11th time in their history they've made 200, Derbyshire. Ten, 204 for 2. Finan is in. Down the track he comes and he smashes this one for 6 out towards the cover boundary. It goes over the head of the man on the cover boundary. Back-to-back 6s for Lewis Deploy. He can do this. 210 for 2 with 8 deliveries to go. Perhaps the 222 is under threat. If they're going to go out of the competition due to the rain, they're going to enjoy themselves with the bat, Derbyshire, clearly. 26 off 11, Lewis Deploy. 109 off 56, Tom Wood. 2 balls to come in the 19th over. Already these two have put on 31 in 2 overs and 1 ball. Remarkable. Here comes Finan. 2 balls to go in the over. Balls to Deploy, who smashes. Oh, it's a no ball. He's overstepped, and the ball has been kept in away to our left. So 2 to deploy and 4 to the total. Deploy moves to 28, 214 for 2. Free hit for Leah's deploy. Good heavens. 3 wides and a no ball in this over. And Michael Finan's figures, 3 overs and 4 balls, 0 for 55. We've seen worse, but this is pretty special. 2 balls of the Finan over to go, 214 for 2, Derbyshire. Over the wicket goes the left armour, and that's heaved away into the offside. Is it going to go all the way for 6? It isn't. It's caught on the boundary, but of course it doesn't matter because it's a free hit, and they scamper back for 2 more, and deploy moves on to 30. 216 for 2 with 7 balls to go. This is now 260. Did I say 216? If I didn't, I meant to. 216 for 2. It is now the 3rd highest score in Derbyshire history. 222, their next target. And Finan is in, and that one is well bowled by Michael Finan. It's a dot ball, believe it or not. 216 for 2 then with 6 deliveries to go, 26 off the over. Wow. Special, so special that they're going to play this dreadful song again. Wood then on strike, 109 off 56. Tom Scriven will bowl the final over. Michael Finan, 4 overs, no maidens, 0 for 57. First delivery pulled into the leg side by Wood for a single, moves to 110, tantalisingly close. 110 off 57, 217 for 2. He needs to get to 111 to beat Wes Durston's record of 100. Well, 111, obviously. Delirious. Ed Barnes has finished, obviously, for the evening, as Scriven is in, and that one is caught behind, is it? No. Yeah, he is. I thought he was. He tried to flick it. It was caught by Peter Hanscom. As Leah's deploy goes. Second catch. The bowling of Tom Scriven picks up his first wicket of the evening. Deploy made 30 off 15 deliveries. 2 4s, 2 6s.
Please welcome out to the middle, your new Falcons batter, 12, Haider Ali.
Blimey, I'd forgotten about Haider. That can't be much fun for... I do hope that he's been told what the Derbyshire individual batting record is, although he may well go 4-4-4-4. 2 balls of the over gone, 1 run and a wicket from it so far. So 4 deliveries of the match left. Still off a bad light at New Road. It's not going to get any lighter, is it? No lights there, of course. Here is Scriven, comes in and bowls 2. Haider launches that for 6 out towards the Players' Pavilion. Wow, that's big. It's been dropped in the crowd, and he hits a 6 off the first delivery, Haider Ali. And this is now Derbyshire's highest score in T20 cricket, 223 for 3, with 3 deliveries to go. History everywhere you look this evening. Can Tom Wood join in? Next delivery. Oh, he's out towards the offside this time, and it's 6 more. Well, that was glorious. It was banged in short. He adjusted it and then flicked it over the cover boundary for 4 more. 229 for 3. Remarkable, really. He's on 12 from 2. He needs a single here. He needs to take a single. Nobody's told him. Tom Wood stranded on 110 at the other end. In comes Scriven and bowls to him. Oh, and he smashed that down the ground. He's going to be caught on the boundary. He is. Tom Wood won't get the chance to break the record. Haider Ali goes for 12 off 3. Louis Kimber with the catch in the distance. Tom Scriven has his second wicket of the evening. That'll be no consolation at all. 2 sixes and out. 229 for 4. And the record opportunity has gone through Tom Wood's grasp. They need a wide and they need to run it. It looks like Brooke Guest to me it is. Final ball of the innings. If he hadn't have taken a single off the first ball, he'd have got the record. Final ball of the innings then, and it is pulled into the leg side by Brooke Guest. They've run 1, they'll come back for 2, and Derbyshire finish on 231 for 4. Magnificent from Tom Wood. 110 not out of 57 balls. It's the second highest individual score by a Derbyshire batsman. 12 fours and 4 sixes. Carried his bat. Brooke Guest finishes on 2 not out, and in a few minutes' time, as the figures disappear, Scriven 4 overs, no maidens, 2 for 53. His final figures. 6 bowlers used, 1 for 32 Ackerman, 1 for 29 Parkinson, 0 for 57 Finan, 0 for 44 Barnes, 2 for 53 Scriven, 0 for 16 Kimber off 1 over. The problem is if it rains, Derbyshire will be desperate for it not to. Harry Kame 56, Wayne Madsen 15, Leicestershire Ploy 30, Haider Ali 12 off 3 deliveries, and the other man, the 2 not out batsman, Brooke Guest on 2 from 1 delivery, and Tom Wood 110 not out from 57 balls, 12 fours and 4 sixes, the second highest individual score in Derbyshire history. It's clearly their highest score in Derbyshire history. We saw the highest first wicket stand between Harry Kame and Tom Wood earlier on as well. It's been a remarkable first half to the innings, just counting the number of sixes here, 2, 4, 8, 11 sixes, so that won't be a record. And Kate, you're an absolute angel. Has sent me Duckworth Lewis, which I will have in front of me for the whole of the second innings. You're very, very kind, and I'll be back in a few minutes' time.
No doubt you're all having a blast. Great evening. Once again, take a chance here to thank our partners and sponsors, to our club's principal partner, Incora, who are a leader in global aerospace and defence industry supply chain service, and to this evening's match sponsors, Heaton's, as well as associate match sponsors, the State Company, and match ball sponsors, AD and Key Survival Equipment. Thank you once again, all you sponsors, for your continued support. Also a big welcome to the Beer and Baltic crew in the Marquee Derby people over there. Hope you're having a great evening. Not far away now from that run chase. Don't forget, immediately after this evening's game, there will be a player signing session with the Derbyshire squad. and that will take place on the outfield. So grab an autograph sheet from the giveaway bins, head towards the dugouts at the end of the game to get it signed by your favourite Falcon.
Terrific catch. They'll take one.
First over, Foxes innings from the city end, 15, Alex Thompson.
Welcome back to the county ground in Derby. Tim Whitemore, whatever happens with the rain or the results elsewhere, that was magnificent. He's absolutely right. It's Alex Thompson to bowl the first over of the evening. He's going to be bowling to Peter Hanscom. I'll give you Duckworth Lewis and that kind of thing in a moment as the ball is pushed up to mid-on. Hayder Ali will have a whoa, don't throw it there. 4 overthrows, 5 without loss. It was always swerving away from wicket-keeper Brooke Guest, and, 5 without loss after 1. Many Mr. Kate, who sent Duckworth Lewis, it's such a it's not complicated. I know, before you send me something back and say it's not complicated. Basically, at the end of 5 overs, which would constitute a game, if they haven't lost a wicket, Leicestershire would need to be 48, 1 wicket down 54, 2 wickets down 62, and so on and so on. So they mustn't lose wickets. They're 5 without loss after 1 delivery, mainly due to 4 overthrows from Hayder Ali, who just needs to calm down. I think that seems to be the gist of it. Here comes Alex Thompson. Bowls, and that one's whipped into the leg side by Vian Mulder for 2. They're going to come back for the second throw. No, they're not going to come back for the second. This time the throw from the distance was good, and they go on to 6 without loss. We do have ball by ball Duckworth Lewis on the bottom of the scoreboard as well. Good to have Peter and the family along for the second half of the innings. I don't know where you were for the first half. It was astonishing. Hanscom pushes the ball into the leg side. It gets past Hayder. It won't get past sliding. People are sliding around out there. They're going to come back, in fact, for 3 in the end. Ball clipped up towards long on. Hayder Ali slid but couldn't get there. Matty McKiernan slid around the boundary and did get there. Hanscom moves to 8. Mulder has 1, 9 without loss in the first innings. They have to be on 9 at the end of the over. To be up equal with Duckworth Lewis stern. This one is pushed up towards long on again, this time by Mulder. They go through for another single. Still waiting on the game down at New Road finally being called, because at the moment Durham and Worcestershire are tied under Duckworth Lewis. They've gone off a bad light with Worcestershire on 112 for 3. It can't be getting any lighter. And I would have thought that game will be done and dusted down there. And that means that if Derbyshire win here, it's all on Sunday against Worcestershire. Around the wicket comes Thompson. That one is swept out towards the hero of the first innings, Tom Wood, on the backward square leg boundary. They pick up a single. Hanscom moves to 9, 11 without loss. Derbyshire's first over, they scored 5. Second over, they scored 6. There was no sign of the carnage to come. As Thompson is in, that's a flatter delivery. Again, pushed out into the leg side. Around the boundary runs Matty McKiernan. Has to slide it back in. They come back for 2. And the first over comes to an end. 13 from it. 13 without loss. Leicestershire. But we're going to see some pace now. They're running around. They're desperate to get this game in. Of course, they don't want to get the game in and lose it. Zach Chappell is already at the top of his mark. Everything's being done at double speed at the moment by Derbyshire as Chappell just checks out his run-up. He's on 22 wickets for the season, incidentally. 1 away from equalling the record, currently held by George Scrimshaw and Ravi Rampal for wickets in a T20 campaign. With today and hopefully Sunday still to come. Still haven't been handed final confirmation. You're welcome, Pete. Final confirmation of the score or the match at New Road being a result. Here is Zach Chappell bowling to Peter Hanscom, who pushes this into the leg side. Dot ball. Zaman Khan does the fielding. And it remains 13 without loss. 18 at the end of this over with no wickets down is their target. No major rain clouds for Derby, according to Stuart in Chesterfield on his weather map. Touch wood, he says. Thank you, Stuart. Good to hear from you. As Chappell is on his way in again. Bowls, this one is pushed out into the offside this time by Hanscom, fielded by Wayne Madsen. No run. Excellent start to the over from Zach Chappell. Chappell, Zaman Khan and George Scrimshaw, sensational with the ball this season for Derbyshire. I mentioned Chappell's 22 wickets, Zaman has 20 and Scrimshaw has 17, so it isn't entirely inconceivable that all three could get more than 23 wickets this season. Third delivery of Chappell's first over. He's in and bowls. It's turned into the leg side. They're going to get one. It's been chased down by Zaman. They're thinking about the second, but he gets the throw in quickly. He's an enthusiastic fielder, is Zaman Khan. He was down at New Road, Worcester, with his whites on, acting as 12th man, doing a bit of bowling down there. Love to see him play first-class cricket. 14 without loss, which is where they should be after 1 over and 3 balls. Chappell in, bowls to Mulder, who taps the ball into the ground. It goes nowhere, and they scamper through for a single. 15 without loss. Mulder on to 5. Hanscom has 10. We had Welsh and Hanscom down on our team sheets as the potential openers. Rishi Patel, Colin Ackerman, but clearly they need runs and they need them quickly. Although if there is no rain about, they have to basically go at 12 runs and over between now and the end of the innings, and that's never easy. 9 runs and over is the run rate. The required rate is 11.8, and in comes Chappell and bowls to Hanscom, and that one's down the leg side. It must have bounced over, or must have just touched his pad, or bounced over leg stump. It's another dot ball. Dot, dot, 1-1, dot. Terrific over so far from Zach Chappell. 1 ball to go, 2 runs from it. Chappell, sporting the finest haircut in the entire Derbyshire team, turns at the top of his mark. On his way in to bowl to Hanscom, who pulls this away for 4 runs. Just banged it in a little bit short. 4 to Hanscom. He moves to 14 and 6 runs off the over, though. Terrific effort. 19 without loss after 2. And they are exactly where they should be. The game down at New Road has finished in a tie, I'm told. So that means that Derbyshire win here. And on Sunday, when they play Worcestershire, it will be winner takes all. Although my screen now says it's live again. So whether they're just putting it live to then tell us that it's match over, who knows? Yeah, result match tied. Excellent news. Now can Derbyshire finish off their part of the bargain? George Scrimshaw from the City end bowling to Wian Mulder, pushes it out into the offside, fielded by Wayne Madsen, and there's no run. That 5 at the first ball of the innings is a little bit annoying, it has to be said. I wonder if we've got John Brayford listening. Might just be looking at the scorecard whilst enjoying a leisurely Friday evening, who knows. Thank you to Stephen for the information on the tied match at Worcester. Scrimshaw is in and bowls. That one is off on edge, down to 3rd man. Zaman Khan just goes down on 1 knee to do the fielding down below us to our right-hand side. Mulder moves to 6 with a single. And Leicestershire are 20 without loss. So, basically, it's remarkable. It's winner takes all on Sunday. If Derbyshire could get this one over the line. Lancashire, Yorkshire, no play yet. It's raining at Trent Bridge, would you believe? Wow. I think I'm going to get that one up and see where they are on Duckworth Lewis as well. Scrimshaw on his way in and bowls. Oh, almost chops on Hanscom. Manages to pick up a single as a throw at the stumps at the far end. Stop throwing at the stumps. There's no need. Single taken. 21 for No wicket. Hanscom moves on to 15. Birmingham are 76 for 5 in reply to Nottinghamshire's 168. They needed to be on 79 to win the game. That is important only because Derbyshire could finish in the top 2 if Lancashire and Notts lose their last 2 matches, but it doesn't look like they're going to. Scrimshaw bowls. That's chopped away down to third man. Oh, what a stop by Zaman. Just thrust out a right hand down at third man. They're going to come back for 2. That's excellent fielding by Zaman Khan. Excellent fielding from the Pakistan international. We'll see him bowl in a few minutes' time, you would think. Scrimshaw. 2 balls of the over remaining. He's in and bowls, and that one is just turned into the leg side by Mulder for a single. He'll move on to 9, 24 without loss. Good over from Big George. You'd expect that, of course. Couple of runs behind on Duckworth Lewis now, so a wicket or 2 would be very, very useful indeed. At the end of 3 overs, 28 is what they need to be. Without loss. Scrimshaw to complete the 3rd over then. Bowls, this one's lifted up in the air. Might go all the way for 6, will it? No, it bounces and then spins on and goes for 4. Nice shot by Hanscom. 20, would you believe it? 28 without loss. They're exactly level on Duckworth Lewis. 28 without loss with 9 runs coming off that over. And Zach Chappell will continue from the racecourse end. Of course, if it doesn't rain, Duckworth Lewis is immaterial, and there were a couple of very hefty overs late on in the innings, one before the halfway mark. In fact, the last one of the power play went for 19. There was a 17 from Ed Barnes in over number 9, 16 off Louis Kimber in the solitary over he bowled. That was the 12th. 20 off Tom Scrivens over number 13. As Chappell is on his way and bowls to Mulder, who turns this into the leg side. No run, fielded by Zaman Khan. There was another big over as well, 26. Late on, that was over number 19, and 15 off the final over as they got to 231 for 4. A remarkable innings from Derbyshire. Their highest in T20 history. 110 for Tom Wood makes him the second highest individual scorer behind Wes Durston's 111. And the first wicket, 148 stand, is a new record as well. Chappell in bowls to Mulder, who slaps this out into the offside for 4 runs. To the left of Wayne Madsen, to the right of Matty McKiernan. And the ball is fetched by Leas Deploy. Mulder moves on to 12, 32 without loss. And they move ahead on Duckworth Lewis. Leicestershire. Nicely done. You wonder the next one is when they'll pull the plug on the Roses match, and they have done. It's been abandoned without a ball being bowled. So a point to Lancashire takes them beyond Derbyshire's reach. And they're still off for rain at Trent Bridge, and they will be in no hurry to get back on, I'm sure, with Nottinghamshire ahead by, I think it was 3 runs on Duckworth Lewis. 32 without loss. Leicestershire. Chappell bowls, pulled into the leg side. Around the boundary comes Harry Kame. He'll get there. Just got to watch his feet because it's very slippery out there. They pick up 2. Mulder moves to 14. 34 without loss. Madsen and Deploy in conversation. Haven't seen Zaman yet. We only saw Hayder briefly. 3 deliveries, 6 out. My kind of innings. Mulder waits. 34 without loss. Chappell in and bowls to him, and he drives this straight to Leas Deploy at mid-off, and there's no run. 6 runs off the over so far. 2 deliveries to go. And it's nip and tuck on the Duckworth Lewis Stern system. If it is a system, it might be a method. It's one or the other. In goes Chappell then. Bowls to Vian Mulder, the South African, who lifts this one into the leg side. Is this going to be a catch? No, it's not. It's going to bounce and then it's going to just move on. It's around the boundary comes Harry Kame to keep the ball in play, and they'll come back for 3. He's saved a single there, helped out by Zaman with the throw. 37 without loss. Mulder to 17 off 13. Hanscom has 19 off 10. They couldn't, could they? The run rate is 9.7. The required rate still above 12. Chappell, his head glistening, turns at the top of his mark for the final ball of the 4th over. In he goes to bowler Peter Hanscom, who lifts it out towards mid-on. It's nicely fielded there by Hayder. Single off the last ball. 10 off the over. 38 without loss after 4 overs. Means they are just slightly, I believe. No, they're absolutely bob on. Duckworth Lewis, 38 without loss, is absolutely bob on. This game is all square. They need 194 to win still. And here he is. This'll sort it out. Well, it'll sort something out. Zaman Khan, 20 wickets to his name so far this season. Been terrific. Absolutely terrific. 20 wickets at 17.8, would you believe? In T20 cricket, he's now gone to the top of the averages because Zach Chappell's 22 wickets have cost him 18.5. Zaman is in, bowls wide of the off stump, hit out towards Wayne Madsen at extra cover by Peter Hanscom, and there is no run. He bowled an entire 4 overs without conceding a boundary at Durham in the tied game earlier this season. Durham have tied again today, importantly, in a rain-affected match. DLS has decided that one at New Road. Worcestershire against Durham, match tied. Derbyshire win here and beat Worcestershire. They're in the quarter-finals. Here is Zaman in and bowls. That one's lifted beautifully out towards the mid-wicket boundary for a 1-bounce 4 by Hanscom. He got hold of that one. Just lifted it, really. He moves to 24, 42 without loss. Restrictions to the field in place for another 10 deliveries. Derbyshire's power play, 55 without loss. At the moment, Leicestershire 42 without loss. Now they've reinforced the leg side boundary. So 2 men out on the leg side outside the circle. Zaman is in to bowler Peter Hanscom, who just guides this out into the offside. It's fielded by Wayne Madsen, and they go through for a single. Hanscom moves to 25, 43 without loss. I'm fairly sure that DLS will be on the big scoreboard to our right as well. If it is, people will know that this is absolutely level at the moment. The next delivery from Zaman is a short one. It's pulled into the leg side by Mulder. He'll pick up one. He'll come back for the second. Throw comes in, and it's just a little bit wide and to the left of Brooke Guest as they go through for 2. Mulder moves to 19, 45 without loss with 2 balls of the over to come. Thank you, Banana. I didn't see the tweet that you sent from me. 8:44 was the cut-off, and that game down at New Road. Martin Emerson had already said it's not going to happen. As Zaman is in again, but also Vian Mulder, short delivery, pulled around the corner. Is that going to go for 4? No. Nicely stopped by Tom Wood and keeps them down to a single. Excellent work by Tom Wood out in the distance away to the left-hand side. 46 without loss. You can feel how tense it is out there. They're desperate for a wicket here, this crowd. They don't necessarily need one, but they really would like one. In comes Zaman, bowls, and that one's down the leg side and will be signalled wide. 47 without loss with 1 ball of the 5th over to go. 9 runs off the over so far. somebody's just put an umbrella down at the far end of the ground. I can't see any other umbrellas around, if I'm entirely honest. They're certainly not shielding themselves from the sun. We haven't seen the sun all day. Zaman ball, short delivery, lifted over the covers and for a couple of bounces into the covers away to our right-hand side for 4. 50 up for Leicestershire, 51 without loss after 5 overs, going along really nicely. The required rate remains 12, but the run rate has gone up above 10 and over. And there were 13 runs from that over from Zaman Khan. And here's George Scrimshaw to bowl over number 6, the final over. The final over of the power play. Derbyshire's power play was 55. Leicestershire may well better that, if indeed better is a verb. But will they prevent Derbyshire from winning and setting up that big game on Sunday? Scrimshaw in and bowls, turned into the leg side by Mulder. Single taken. Zaman does the fielding. 52 without loss. Mulder on to 21. Update in 5 minutes for BBC Radio Derby. I'd really rather like to tell them about a wicket. That'd be quite handy at this juncture. Looking at the ball-by-ball Duckworth Lewis, at the end of 6, if they lose a wicket, they'd have to be 63. At the moment, they have to be 58. Scrimshaw bowls, cracked away, but straight to the man at point, who is Matty McKiernan, nicely fielded, threatens to throw down the stumps, wisely decides against it, and it remains 52 without loss. It will send us all daft, you know this. No. Burton Albion are teasing us with a welcome back tweet at 5 to 9 on a Friday night. Here goes Scrimshaw, 52 without loss, bowls to Hanscom, pulls it into the leg side but doesn't time it. He'll only pick up a single and move to 30, 53 without loss, with half of the 6th over still to go. See, it's 2 tenths to be wowing, far 2 tenths. I'd pack it in now if I was you. Wait for a wicket or 2 to fall. We didn't see a wicket in the Derbyshire innings until 151 was on the board. Well, that's not strictly true. 148 on the board when Harry Kane was dismissed in the 14th over. Scrimshaw is in to bowl to Vian Mulder, who dabs that down, backward of square on the offside. Single taken. Mulder moves to 22, 54 without loss. Just trying to spot who that was. It's Tom. What's Tom Wood doing there? Tom Wood at backward point. Matty McKiernan at point. When Madsen at extra cover, Lears deploy to mid-off. There's a man down on the 3rd man boundary. I think that's Alex Thompson. Man out on the square leg boundary as well. Harry Kame at Scrimshaw bowls, and it's turned towards Kame. They'll go through for another single. 1 ball left of the power play then. 55 without loss. Good over from Scrimshaw. Can he finish it off here? We already have a game. If it rains now, Duckworth Lewis Stern will come into play. Hayder is at mid-on. Zach Chappell is at short, fine leg. That's your field. The final ball of the Scrimshaw over, the final ball of the power play. He's in and bowls short, and it's hit for 6, out towards the square leg boundary. Mulder got hold of that one. Scrimshaw with his hands on his knees, can't quite believe it. End of the power play, 10 runs off the over, 61 without loss. Wow, some hit that.
Foxes on 61 for no wickets. Time now in Incora County Ground to get behind your Falcons. Let's see.
Absolutely incredible shot from Mulder. Alex Thompson returns to bowl over number 7. delay for some reason. So, first ball outside the power play. Ball lifted into the leg side by Peter Hanscom. Alex Thompson is bowling the 7th over. I knew we'd get to the start of it at some point. And we did. Thompson in again, bowling to Vian Mulder. Takes 2 steps down the track and lifts this one out to the leg side. That'll be 4, wide of Haider Ali at the long on boundary. Mulder moves to 32, 66 without loss now. This could be one of the most remarkable games of cricket since that Surrey Middlesex one a couple of weeks ago. Middlesex chased down 250. There'll be an update for Radio Derby listeners fairly soon as Thompson is in and bowls. That's turned into the leg side by Vian Mulder for a single, 33. To Mulder, 67. Is that right? No. 32 to Hanscom, 66 without loss. The Foxes with 4 balls of the 7th over still to go. Thompson bowls, it's swept, but again, not a good connection from Hanscom. He moves on to 33. I think the scoreboard's actually stopped. There we go, both batsmen on 33. Mulder back on strike, 68 without loss. I shouldn't have doubted myself. Douglas Lewis says 65. That's 68. Need a wicket. Next delivery from Thompson is pulled into the leg side by Mulder for a single. 69 without loss. Mulder moves to 34. Hanscom has 33. One ball of the Thompson over, his second to go. Oh, he's dropped that short and he's got away with it, has he? No, he hasn't. It's been crashed away to the extra cover boundary for 4. Not a good ball to finish off with. 12 off the over, 73 without loss after 7. Their run rate, well, it's 10.4. The required rate remains 12.2, but that was a damaging over for Derbyshire. 12 from it. Who's going to bowl the next over? It's going to be Matty McKiernan. They've almost got nothing to lose, Leicestershire, as I desperately search for excuses. So Matty McKiernan from the racecourse end. Ball being put in the pocket. Oh, they found another one. They'd lost the ball. They'd replaced it. Which ball are we going to use? Yeah, that one looks all right. 73 without loss. Vian Mulder on 34. Peter Hanscom on 37. Matty McKiernan for the first time this evening with his leg spin from the racecourse end. Drags it down and gets away with it. As it's pulled down the ground, Haider will come in and do the fielding. 74 without loss. Very wet in Saddleworth, says Tim. No rain here at the moment. 74 without loss. In goes McKiernan, bowls. That strikes the pads of Hanscom as he tries to pull it into the leg side, and it's a dot ball. Update for Radio Derby listeners coming up after this next. Matty McKiernan delivery to Peter Hanscom, who has to reach for one and gets a single. 75 without loss. Here it comes. Yeah, still looking quite good for them, but it's getting a little bit twitchy here. You can tell by the complete silence in the background that Leicestershire have got off to a good start. 75 without loss. We're halfway through the 8th over. Vian Mulder has 35, and there's the first wicket of the night. Vian Mulder has been bowled by Matty McKiernan for 35. That's changed the mood inside the county ground. Peter Hanscom on 38. Leicestershire 75 for 1 in the 8th over, chasing or attempting to chase 232 after Derbyshire made 231 for 4. That has come as a huge relief to everybody here, Martin. We're all smiling again. Matty McKiernan picks up a big wicket. That will change Duckworth Lewis, I am sure, quite considerably, as Vian Mulder goes for 35 off 22, 2 fours and a 6 in that innings, and the first wicket comes in the 8th over. Thanks to Banana, who has sent me the top of the table as it stands. That before the Notts Birmingham game goes Notts' way, they'll move on to 16. Lancs on 15, Worcestershire on 15, Yorkshire 14. As the first ball that Patel faces is turned into the leg side. They go through for a couple of runs. Patel off the mark, 77 for 1. It hasn't changed Duckworth Lewis by a huge amount, in fairness. They're now 4 behind. Nothing a couple more wickets wouldn't sort out. In goes McKiernan again. That one strikes the pad. There's a half an appeal from behind the stumps. What an excellent over that is from Matty McKiernan. 4 runs from it, and he picked up a wicket as well. 77 for 1 after 8. Now, Leicestershire and Duckworth Lewis starts to hurt them. 84 they have to be at the start of, after 1 ball of the next over. What do they have to be at the end of this one? Come on, I've got all the facts in front of me. At the end of 8, 1 wicket down, 83. So Derbyshire now 6 in front. And we are going to see Tom Wood, why not? From the City end earlier, made 110 not out, let's not forget. 110 not out. Remarkable. Wood is going to start bowling. He's going to bowl his first delivery to Peter Hanscom. He's in, and that one is turned around the corner for a single, fielded by George Scrimshaw. .78 for 1. Hanscom on to 39. Wood is in to bowl to Patel. Tries to smash this into next week. Wood goes down on one knee, asking for a leg before wicket. Nothing doing, but it was a dot ball, which is almost as good. Next delivery, clipped into the leg side, out towards wide long on. Nice sliding stop by Hayder, who throws the ball in, but they get back for 2. Patel moves on to 80 for 1. No printed sheet. I'm doing it off the computer in front of me. Duckworth Lewis, 80 for 1. That isn't Duckworth Lewis. There's a reverse sweep coming out there from Rishi Patel. There is a man out on the square leg boundary. Again, being very careful to keep his feet. Harry Kane throws the ball back in. Patel moves on to 5, 81 for 1. 2 balls of the Tom Wood over to go. And he's conceded 4 runs. Can he get out of the over now? That's the key. He's in and bowls, and that one is pulled into the leg side by Hanscom. They're thinking about 2 here, but McKiernan's quick. Gets in there, throws a little wayward. They pick up a single. Hanscom 40, Patel 5, 82 for 1. As Wood is in to complete his over. This one's launched down the ground. That's 6. That's gone over the head of Haider Ali at the far end of the ground, and Rishi Patel joins the party. He moves on to 11, 6 off the final ball, 11 off the over, 88 for 1 at the end of 9. But Derbyshire still ahead on Duckworth Lewis, and they're not actually rushing round as much now as they were before. And it's going to be Matty McKiernan to continue and bowl over number 10. Looks like they're back out at Trent Bridge. Birmingham 77 for 5. They need 92 from 77 balls. The target, well, they don't seem to have lost any time either, according to my computer, quite remarkably. McKiernan, whose first over went for 4, bowls to Peter Hanscom, who cuts and picks up a single out towards Tom Wood on the cover boundary. 89 for 1 now. McKiernan, as ever, blows into his hand and bowls to Rishi Patel, who launches it down the ground for 6. Watch out. There you go. It's hit the roof of the media centre here, 3rd floor. And whether it's smashed anything or not, but McKiernan goes for a maximum. Leicestershire moved to 95 for 1. Bizarre game of cricket this is. Almost at the halfway stage. At the halfway stage, Derbyshire were 100 without loss. McKiernan in to bowl to Patel. That looked a little quicker, and it's guided out towards Tom Wood on the cover boundary. In he comes. Does the fielding. Burton Albion have finally announced that signing. Mason Bennett is back at Burton Albion, signed from Millwall. 96 for 1 here. McKiernan is in and bowls a wide delivery that will be signalled wide. 97 for 1. He's joined, as ever, on a 2-year deal. Next delivery is edged down towards a short third man. Scrimshaw thought about diving forward and realised that he doesn't dive forward and did the fielding on the edge of the circle. 98 for 1. 2 balls of the first half of the innings remain. McKiernan is in and bowls wide of the off stump, and it's signalled wide. Cut off 10 to 10, remarkably. They'll get there. Somebody's birthday out there, clearly. In goes McKiernan, reverse sweep comes out, goes straight to George Scrimshaw, who does the fielding. Single is taken, and the 100 is up for Leicestershire in the same over that the 100 came up for Derbyshire. 100 without loss, Derbyshire after 10. 100 for 1, Leicestershire after 9 overs and 5 balls. Hanscom on 42 off 67. Waits goes back and cuts this one out towards the backward point boundary. Fielded there by Wood, who's got a rocket arm and keeps them down to a single. Nicely done, but at the halfway stage, 13 off that over from Matty McKiernan, whose 2 overs have now gone for 17. 101 for 1, Leicestershire. George Scrimshaw removes his sweater. Almost forgot what he was removing there. Confirmation. Now, this is an advert, isn't it? So I should know what this is, but no idea. Genuinely no idea. They need 13 overs, 13 runs and over. They're currently going at 10s. And here comes George Scrimshaw from the city end to bowl to Peter Hanscom, who crashes that one up towards Lears deploy at mid-off, and a single is taken. 102 for 1. Whether they are playing with that little bit of extra freedom or who knows. Patel has just had a look behind him. Stand by for him to scoop a 90-mile-an-hour delivery from George Scrimshaw. He's in and he's wing and a miss. Too quick for Patel. 102 for 1 it remains. They're hovering around 5 runs behind on Duckworth Lewis at the moment. Meanwhile, Birmingham are 95 for 5. They need 74 off 66 deliveries if it doesn't rain again, but they are 5 down. Could be an interesting finish just down the road at Trent Bridge. Scrimshaw on his way and bowls. That one's straight up in the air. Who's going to catch this one? Leicestershire Ploy's underneath it. Leicestershire Ploy takes the catch. The skipper, safe hands, takes the catch, and Patel goes for 19. Leicestershire Ploy, the safest hands in the Derbyshire team this season, certainly. He has got an enormous number of catches. That's his 14th of the campaign. George Scrimshaw, well, he now has 18 wickets for the season. Patel 19 off 11. Just for a moment, I thought he'd got hold of that one. No 4s, 2 6s, Rishi Patel. And Leicestershire 102 for 2. He can play, this boy. Colin Ackerman. Jane, the scorer's enjoying this song. She's swaying from side to side. I've absolutely no idea what it is. Scrimshaw on his way into the new batsman, Colin Ackerman. Bowls, and Ackerman guides this down to third man. Zach Chappell is there. Throws the ball in. 103 for 2. Run rate drops below 10. Required rate almost 14 and over now. Derbyshire had a 16 and a 20 run over. Overs number 12 and 13. And then that 26 run over near the end off Michael Finan. Wides and no balls and free hits and all sorts. 103 for 2 down Leicestershire. Scrimshaw bowls. That's turned into the leg side by Hanscom. Around the boundary goes Tom Wood. Single taken. Oop, ball bounces. Gets away from Brooke Guest, but Wayne Madsen was behind him. No damage done. 104 for 2. One ball of the third George Scrimshaw over to go. There's a word with his captain, Leicestershire Ploy. Silence descends on the county ground here in Derby once again. Ackerman on 1. Scrimshaw in, bowls to him, and he guides that down to third man. Can it be stopped by Chappell? No, it can't. Goes for 4. 107 runs off the over, 108 for 2. Decent enough over, though, from George Scrimshaw. Just a shame that he couldn't keep that last one. 3 singles, a wicket, a dot ball, and then the 4 off the last ball. Derbyshire nicely ahead on Duckworth Lewis, and Alex Thompson is back. This time bowling from the racecourse end. Two overs for 25. Bowled the first over of the innings for 13. His second over, therefore, went for 12. He's bowling to Peter Hanscom, who's on 45, and Hanscom smashes this into the leg side. 2 bounces, it reaches Harry Kane. They get through for a single. 109 for 2. Zaman has just been told he's going to bowl the next over from the city end via George Scrimshaw with a long shout from Leicestershire Ploy, who's now telling Hayder who's as far away from Zaman as Deploy is. Thompson in and bowls. That one is defended by Ackerman. Straight back to him. Dot ball. So good start to the over from Thompson. 1 run from it so far. This next delivery is clipped into the leg side by Ackerman. They've run the first one quickly. They're going to come back for the second and test Harry Kame's arm. And they're going to get the better of Harry Kame's arm because they get back for 2 comfortably enough. $111 for 2. Ackerman on to 7 on strike. Dances down the track and then pushes the ball up towards a wide long on. They're going to come back for the second here. The throw comes in from Hayder, who almost gets it back in time, but that's good running from Hanscom to get back for the second. I think he might need a moment here. He had to run hard to make sure he got back on time there. So they're now 2 down, and we're in the 11 overs and 4 balls. And 24 is what they should be. 113 is what they are. That one's been launched into the leg side and caught on the leg side boundary, the square leg boundary by Zaman Khan. Excellent work. And Alex Thompson has a wicket. Terrific work by Zaman Khan out on the boundary. And Ackerman goes for 9. And this is the problem when you're chasing as many as Leicestershire are. It's almost impossible to keep up with the run rate. But Alex Thompson picks up his first wicket of the evening. 113 for 3 now. Ackerman 9 off 6 deliveries with 1 4. Another wicket. Once wickets start to tumble, it starts to get harder and harder. For instance, they're now 17 behind Duckworth Lewis. And there were some pretty big overs in the second half of the Derbyshire batting innings. 113 for 3. Nick Welsh is the new batsman. He'll be on strike. Thompson in around the wicket to bowl to him. He pulls this around the corner. Zaman is in off the boundary. Got a good arm. Can he get this one in? No, well, he doesn't need to because they've stuck to a single. 114 for 3, 6 off the over. And this is more like it. We can all relax again. Yeah, just 26 years of age, Mason Bennett, as he returns to Burton Albion. Had a spell on loan there, I believe. Derby County Junior. Back in the area. Part of that Burton Albion rebuilding job that Dino Marmry is doing. Matty McKiernan, that's as much football as I'm going to do. Matty McKiernan. From the City end, 2 overs, 1 for 17. His figures. Thompson, 3 overs, 1 for 31. Need the music to stop, please. Thank you. Thompson on his way in to bowl to Nick Welsh, who lifts this one down the ground. That's 6. Halfway up the permanent temporary stand at the far end of the ground. Nice shot from Nick Welsh. Gets a maximum just for a moment. Just for a moment. Leicestershire Deploy thought he was in the game there. Then he kicked at the ground because he knew he wasn't anymore. 120 for 3. Still the run rate below 10. The required rate just below 14.5, but a 6 off the first ball of an over always helps. McKiernan, 1 for 23 now from 2.1 overs. He's on his way in from the City end, bowls, and that one's chopped backward of square on the offside. In off the boundary comes Harry Kame. 1 is all they'll get. I think it's quite amusing that Matty McKinnon's trying to dry his hands on the footmarks at the far end of the ground, which must be quite damp themselves, you would have thought by now. They've been exposed since probably 6 o'clock this evening, and we've definitely had spots of rain since then. 121 for 3. McKiernan is in and bowls, and that one is bunted up towards Hayder Alley, up at long on by Peter Hanscom, who moves to 47. 122 for 3. Every time they get a single, the required rate goes up. Just how we like it. McKiernan in and bowls. This one's pulled into the leg side, but again, probably only going to be one. Tom Wood out there in the distance. He's got a very good arm. Fields it nicely. It's very tricky out in the deep, as we saw on a number of occasions when Leicestershire were batting. 123 for 3. McKiernan just asks Zach Chappell to go a little bit squarer at short third man. McKiernan is in and bowls. This is pulled into the leg side. It's going to bounce in front of Tom Wood. They go through for another single. 124 for 3. Required rate over 15. Don't start singing Hey Jude without him putting it on. You know what he'll do? He'll play it at the end of the over. Final ball of McKiernan's third. Welsh on strike. McKiernan bowls to him and he pulls it into the leg side for a single. Decent over considering a 6 was hit off the first ball. 125 for 3, 11 off the over. And we've got some Fat Boy Slim instead of the Beatles. He didn't take the hint. Welsh has 10, Hanscom has 48. And after 13 overs, they should be on 139. So that's 2 down. Should be 142, I beg your pardon. And they are 125, and Zaman is back. I interviewed Norman Cook once when he was in the House Martins. That's the story, really. 125 for 3. I interviewed all the House Martins, but he was there. Zaman then from the racecourse end, bowling to Welsh, who flicks the ball away into the leg side, out towards Harry Kane. Takes an awkward bounce just as it arrives at him, but he fields it nicely. Single taken, 126 for 3. Welsh up to 11. A very nice young man, and he was a young man when I met him. 126 for 3, required rate up to 15.5 and over now. As Zaman is in and bowls. It's a full-length delivery that Hanscom digs out and pushes down the ground. Hayder gets there quickly, hurls the ball in. Single taken, Hanscom moves to 49, 127 for 3. Anybody who was slightly nervous can calm down a bit, and that includes me, clearly. But as you all drift off, I wish you a fond good evening this Friday night. Zaman bowls a full toss and it's bowled him straight through Welsh's defences. Zaman Khan picks up his 21st wicket of the campaign, and Leicestershire are 127 for 4 now. It was a trademark full delivery from Zaman, and it was straight through Nick Welsh, who goes for 11 of 7 deliveries. And Derbyshire started to take a grip on this, and who knows, taking one step towards booking their place in the quarter-finals of the T20 Blast. Earlier today, Worcestershire against Durham finished in a tie under Duckworth-Lewis. Which means that a win here for Derbyshire would leave them 2 points behind Worcestershire. And who do they play on Sunday? It's the Rapids, of course. Get yourselves down here. They're going to need all the support they can get.
The big batsman for the Leicestershire Foxes, 17, Louis Kimber.
Zaman is going to be bowling to Louis Kimber. Didn't have much of a day with the ball. Bowled 1 over. It went for 16, Louis Kimber. So he owes his side a few runs. 127 for 4. Required weight up to 16 now, and he bowls to him down the leg side wide. It's a fine line for Zaman with those Yorkers that he bowls. I will repeat that news from earlier. Mason Mount has signed for Burton Albion on a 2-year contract from Millwall. Sounds like a good signing to me, that. Next delivery is full again and driven by Kimber out towards the long. In goes Zaman again. Bowls a short delivery that's pulled by Kimber up towards long on. They'll go through for 1. That's all they'll get. 133 for 4. Kimber on to 5. And that required rate remains around 16. When I say Mason Mount, I mean Mason Bennett. Thank you, Colst. That would have been some signing. Mason Bennett's not bad either. I told you I should stop talking about football. In goes this next delivery from Zaman, turned into the leg side by Peter Hanscom for 1. That's again all they'll get. Hanscom moves to 50 though. His 50 comes off 35 balls with 5 fours. And it moves Leicestershire on to 134. For 4.
From the City end, number 9, George Scrimshaw.
Big George is back. People involved with Burton Albion. He's not involved with Burton Albion. He's a Leeds United fan, George, but nonetheless, he's from Burton. 9 runs off that previous over. The next over begins with a short delivery from Scrimshaw that Hanscom does well to reach. But reach it he does and pushes it out towards Harry Kane on the cover boundary for a single. 135 for 4. Zaman Khan, 2 overs, 1 for 22. George Scrimshaw, 3 overs and 1 ball, 1 for 26. So he'll be the first of the bowlers to finish. Kimber waits. He's on 5 from 2 deliveries faced. 135 for 4. Scrimshaw bowls to him. It's a swing and a miss from Kimber. Too quick for him. Love it. .135 for 4. Required rate over 17 and over now. Derbyshire have this game in the palm of their hands. Just need to finish off the job on what has been a fairly ordinary day. Weather-wise, that one is lifted out into the offside by Kimber. He's going to get 4 for it out to the extra cover boundary. Banged in short again by George Scrimshaw. 30 runs conceded by him in 3.5 overs now. Kimber moves to 9. Leicestershire 139 for 4. They need a further 93 to win in the remaining 5 overs and 3 balls, though. You're right, Kirk. I did say that. It's Mason Bennett, not Mason Mount. Don't get excited, everybody. Here comes Scrimshaw in and bowls. That one's been launched down the ground. The Hayder Ali's underneath it. Kimber's going to be caught here, and Hayder takes the catch. Kimber has gone for 9. George Scrimshaw has now got 19 wickets for the campaign, and Leicestershire at 139 for 5. Derbyshire take a step closer to that winner-takes-all game on Sunday against Worcestershire in the T20 Blast. catch by Hayder. Looking into the night sky here at Derby is never easy. 9 of 5 deliveries. 2 4s in there. George Scrimshaw now with 2 for 30. Making a late bid to challenge his own record in the season of 23. Might need a couple more this evening.
Leicestershire Foxes, number 23, Lewis Hill.
Lewis Hill, the new batsman. You're right, Paul. You're right. Mason Bennett, not Mason Mount. Let that be the end of it. 139 for 5. I wish I hadn't mentioned it the latest time, to be honest. Lewis Hill. George Scrimshaw's got 2 deliveries left. 2 wickets for 30, his figures thus far. 5 overs and 2 balls to go. In comes Scrimshaw. Bowls, and almost takes the edge of Lewis Hill's bat. Lewis Hill would have had to have been a far better batsman to get anything on that, in all honesty. It was another sharp delivery from George Scrimshaw. 139 for 5 it remains. The required rate is now up to 18 and over. I feel for the boys next door from radio. I don't really, obviously, but we've all commentated on games where we knew what the result was going to be from 5 overs out. That's pretty much the situation. I think I missed my half past and I apologise. This next one, oh dear. Lewis Hill's got absolutely no idea where that ball's gone. It's come off his arm, chest. End of the over though. 140 for 5.
And a great spell there by George Scrimshaw. It's 4 overs, 2 for
6 runs off the George Scrimshaw over. 4 overs, 2 for 30. Matty McKinnon is back. Next delivery is guided backward of square on the offside. Single taken by Lewis Hill to get off the mark. 141 for 5. Required rate moves towards 19 now. McKinnon just checks his run. In he goes, bowls to Hanscom, who pulls this into the leg side horribly. They're going to come back for 2. Good throw by Hayder. Had to have hit the stumps, though, I think, to have effected a run out. 2 runs taken, 143 for 5. Required rate 19. Continues to climb, which is really what Derbyshire are after. The higher it goes, the better. Hanscom 53. McKinnon in and bowls to him, and he smacks that down the ground. That'll only be a single to Leah's deploy at long off. He moves to 54, the Australian. 144 for 5 now. Missed the update at 9:30. It was my own fault. McKinnon in and bowls. That's a sweep down to short fine leg where George Scrimshaw does the fielding. 145 for 5. Hill moves on to 2. The required rate moves above 20 and over. It's starting to get a bit tricky for Leicestershire. It's looking good for Derbyshire. McKinnon is in and bowls. It's a swing and a miss there from Hanscom. McKinnon jogs back to the top of his mark. Final ball of his 4. 3 overs and 5 balls, 1 for 33, his figures at the moment. Zaman's got 2 left, Chappell's got 2 left, and there are 4 overs to go after this one. In comes McKinnon, bowls. That one is launched down the ground. Is that going to be 6? It is. Down towards long on, it spoils Matty McKinnon's figures a touch, and it also means 11 runs came off the over. It doesn't really matter too much. 4 overs, 1 for 39. So the 2 of the wicket-taking bowlers are done, and Zach Chappell returns from the City end with 20 runs and over required. Zach Chappell on 22 wickets, Zaman Khan on 21, George Scrimshaw now on 19. In comes Chappell and bowls as an attempt to launch it into the leg side. It hits the pad and he's got another wicket, and Hill has gone for 2. It's a 23rd and record equalling wicket for Zach Chappell. Lewis Hill goes for 2 from 5. And Leicestershire are 151 for 6. People are sending me messages left, right and centre. Well, you should have come, Jono, it's your own fault. In comes Chappell and bowling to Tom Scriven, who has to jump out of the way of that delivery. .151 for 6. Chappell bowls. That one's lifted into the leg side. Is it going to go over Haider Ali? It is. Haider's chasing it towards the boundary, slides in and keeps it inside the field of play. Excellent work from him. Scriven gets 2. 153 for 6. The required rate will rise again to 22.5. .153 for 6. Scriven off the mark. 10 minutes remain before Derbyshire have to start their final over, which they will do. 153 for 6. In comes Chappell. He bangs it in. Scriven moves into the offside. Oh, no ball. You sure? Not sure. Not sure. 2 to the total. 155 for 6. Bit of a interesting decision that from Neil Pratt. One bouncer for the over as well, says the umpire. It would have been given by Tom Lungley at square leg, presumably. Chappell won't have been best pleased with it, though. He's in now and bowls, and that one is played out into the offside. And they go through for another single. 154 for 6. Scriven moves on to 3. Now they officially need a boundary, a ball. 24 runs and over is their required rate now. So we all know that this game is going to end in a Derbyshire victory, unless something absolutely remarkable happens, and their net run rate is going to improve as well. And that one is pulled into the leg side by Hanscom for a single. He moves on to 6. course it is. Bowls, and that one has gone straight through him. Full leg delivery. Hanscom jumped into the leg side. There's no point in looking down. It went in between you and the stumps, Peter. Zaman just waving. Don't know who he's waving to because he's on his way in now. 155 for 6, bowls, and that strikes the pad. His big appeal for leg before wicket, and he's got him, and Hanscom's gone now. And Leicestershire are subsiding, as they almost are bound to do. Zaman Khan moves up to 22 wickets. Update coming up. It is, absolutely, Martin. Yeah, sorry about that before. I was too busy getting abused on Twitter for something that I said. 155 for 7 now, Leicestershire. They need 20 now. I'll tell you what it was in a moment. 29 and over. They're not going to get them. Peter Hanscom's just gone for 61. Zaman Khan with his second wicket of the night. He now has 22 for the season. George Scrimshaw's picked up one as well. He has 19 for the season. And Zach Chappell has just equalled the club record, 23 wickets in a campaign, when he trapped Lewis Hill leg before wicket for 2. Derbyshire are going to win this one. Worcestershire's game against Durham has ended in a tie, which means it will be winner takes all on Sunday. Get yourselves down to the county ground on Sunday. Whoever wins that one goes through to the quarterfinals. And I was being abused because Burton Albion have announced in the last hour they've signed Mason Bennett, and at one point I said it was Mason Mount. There's a big difference between the two. Even you'll get that, Martin, won't you? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I'm waiting for your message. Single taken, I believe. Scoreboard seems to have stopped. 156. Oh no, one added, that's right. 156 for 7. I've got to concentrate. In goes Zaman. Short delivery. Toe ends by Scriven. Michael Finan is the new batsman, incidentally. He got off the mark with that single, and Scriven gets the boundary, moves on to 7. Very, very, very fortunate boundary there for Tom Scriven. The required rate's up to 30 now, so we might as well forget it. The game, that is. It's all about who can take the most wickets now between Zaman Khan and Zach Chappell. Zaman's got 2, Chappell's got 1. Zaman is on his way in again and bowls a full delivery and he gets another wicket. And Scriven, well, he was beaten for pace. All ends up there. The stumps are a terrible mess. And Zaman Khan now has a record equaling 23 wickets for the season, with power to add in his final over coming up fairly soon, although they are running out of victims. 160 for 8. Tom Scriven goes. LBW bowled by Zaman Khan. Another terrific delivery from Zaman. Scriven 7 from 6. You cannot. I don't see how you can possibly face bowling like that, in all honesty. So 2 wickets tonight for George Scrimshaw. 1 for Zach Chappell and 3 for Zaman Khan now. 23 for the season to Chappell and Zaman has got 1 ball of this over and potentially another over if Zach Chappell doesn't take the 2 wickets, which take him as the outright owner of the Derbyshire record for wickets in a season. Magnificent trio of quick bowlers that Derbyshire have got. When they fire, Derbyshire have got an absolute chance. Can they beat Worcestershire? Will they beat Somerset away? The effects microphone's just dropped outside the window. You might have heard that in the background. Dot ball to finish off with. 3 overs, 3 for 27. Zaman Khan, 160 for 8. 2 wickets in the over for Zaman and 5 runs off it. I mean, it's sensational bowling. And now it's over to you, Zach Chappell. 160 for 8. Zaman receiving the applause of the supporters down below us to our right. The rain has stayed off. He only came all the way down here so he could get the applause. He's gone back to the edge of the 30-yard circle now. As Chappell is in and bowls on the stumps, and there's a court behind. There's a swing and Finan gets a little touch on it, and Zach Chappell now is the outright record wicket taker in a T20 campaign. I don't think that Ed Barnes is going to bat. Young Parkinson shaking hands. No Ed Barnes. He's clearly unable to bat. And Derbyshire with Leicestershire 160 all out have won this one by an absolute country mile. 71 runs. That's a huge, huge victory. Poor old Ed Barnes, absent, hurt. And the last man out, Michael Finan, caught by Brooke Guest. Of the bowling of Zach Chappell, 4-1. Don't forget, on Sunday, Derbyshire against Worcestershire is a winner-takes-all contest. The winners of that will go through to the quarter-finals on, well, next Thursday or Friday it is. Other live scores from elsewhere. Birmingham need 9 runs in 10 balls to beat Nottinghamshire. If they do, and then Nottinghamshire lose to Leicestershire, which seems highly unlikely given what we've seen tonight, then Derbyshire could overtake Nottinghamshire as well. Wouldn't that be good? Lancashire against Yorkshire was abandoned without a ball being bowled, and Durham against Worcestershire match tied under the Duckworth-Lewis method. Can I thank everybody for persevering with me this evening? Kirk Jones, Zaman's Yorkers are very difficult to pick up in the twilight. We need to sign him for next season before Yorkshire poach him, says Kirk. He may well be right. Thanks very much for your interaction as well. Thanks to Kate for supplying me with the Duckworth-Lewis. Thank you, Banana. Not sure it was a no ball. It was just the umpires confirming with each other that there were 2 left. Thank you, Peter, for your message. And yes, thank you, Drew. Listen, it's been an absolute privilege this evening to watch that from Derbyshire. They scored a new club record 231 for 4, with Tom Wood scoring 110 not out, second highest score by a Derbyshire batsman in T20 cricket. In response, well, they've bowled pretty well, haven't they, really? George Scrimshaw bowled 4 overs, took 2 for 30. Zach Chappell in the end ended up with 2 for 30 himself from 3.1 overs and was denied the chance to get a 3rd wicket by the fact that poor old Ed Barnes didn't appear. Zaman bowled 3 overs, took 3 for 27. Matty McKiernan 4 overs, 1 for 39. Alex Thompson 3 overs for 1 for 31. Alex Thompson, in fact, I think he took he took the big wicket of Colin Ackerman as well, did Thompson, so good for him. And Tom Wood, who got that century, 1 over for 11. A terrific effort by the Derbyshire bowlers. Leicestershire 160 all out in reply to Derbyshire's 231. A 71-run victory for Derbyshire. Zach Chappell now has a club record 24 wickets for the season. Zaman Khan, a club old record equaling 23, and George Scrimshaw, who did hold the record with Ravi Rampal on 23, has 19. They've been terrific. Derbyshire will be back in action on Sunday when they face Worcestershire in a huge game. Winner takes all for a place in the quarter-finals. Join us from 2:30.